Chapter 1036. Alas, karma has reincarnation. Let's just follow fate. As for the rest, forget it. Lin Tian listened carefully to the two behind him, but if they were to make a move, danger would follow them. This was not something he wanted to see. Although I can't completely destroy the uncontrollable storm if I use all my strength to tear a hole in it, I can still do it. Regarding this, a young lady, the two of you should return to the divine realm and wait for the young master's return. Although it might take a long time to wait, I believe in the young master's ability. He must be thinking of a way to return. But, vaguely, she seemed to have sensed Lin Tian's thoughts. Just as she was about to persuade him, she heard Lin Tian's interruption. All right, there's no need to say anything about this. It's settled. After all, my life belongs to the young master. So, a young lady, remember, you must rush out as fast as you can. Otherwise, everything I've done will be in vain. After saying that, Lin Tian did not listen to the two anymore and threw it to him. He used the secret art of swallowing whale to the extreme. Not enough. Why is it still not enough? Originally, Lin Tian thought that with his current strength, he could slightly destroy the uncontrollable storm. However, in the end, he was wrong. Alas, it seems that I still have to use that method. Thinking of this, a flash of determination appeared. Bloodline, reverse. Lin Tian also had a bloodline in his body. However, this bloodline was not the kind that could increase one's cultivation. On the contrary, although Lin Tian's bloodline could increase one's cultivation, the price to pay was fatal. As long as one's own bloodline could increase one's cultivation, one could only use one's bloodline to increase one's cultivation. Moreover, this bloodline could only be used once in one's life. Because the person who used it once would die, how could it be used again? This bloodline had a general name, Bright Moon Reverse Blood Burning Vein. Perhaps only Lin Tian himself knew this name. Moreover, he was familiar with this kind of unpopular bloodline when he was in charge of the Pavilion of Heavenly Secrets. When he first learned of the characteristics of the reverse bloodline ignition, Lin Tian was very shocked. He secretly tested the power of his own bloodline. In the end, the answer was that Lin Tian, really did have the reverse bloodline ignition. Even Lin Ray didn't know about this matter, but Lin Tian had already made a plan in his heart after knowing that he had this bloodline. It wasn't for anything else, but to be able to use this bloodline to help Lin Ray when Lin Ray was in danger. That was all. Boom! With a loud bang, a terrifying aura rushed out from Lin Tian's body. This aura was filled with coldness, terror, brutality, and cruelty. How is that possible? Little Tian, this energy, sensing the aura emanating from Lin Tian's body, Ice and Shadow were shocked. They had never felt such an aura before. This aura gave them the feeling of death. Bastard, you're crazy. Quickly stop. However, behind him, the heart demon saw that Lin Tian had still opened the reverse bloodline ignition despite his dissuasion. He was startled and roared. Unfortunately, no matter how he roared, it was useless. The reverse bloodline ignition had already been opened, and it was impossible to close it. A wild laughter came out from Lin Tian's mouth. There was depression, melancholy, but more than that, he could finally protect the people he wanted to protect. Open for me. Without waiting for a long time, when the reverse bloodline ignition was completely opened, Lin Tian's aura reached its peak. He fiercely turned around, and using his spear as a medium to drive the aura in his body, he directly pointed at the place behind him. Boom! With a tearing sound, a crack the size of a person appeared in the originally empty space. A young lady, quickly leave. I can't hold on any longer. Puff! As soon as he opened his mouth, a mouthful of blood gushed out. His complexion became pale, and his aura became sluggish. He was like an old man with a candle in the wind and could die at any time. But, seeing Lin Tian like this, he wanted to say something, but just as she opened her mouth, a cold voice came from the front. Hurry up and get out of here, or Lin Tian, this bastard, will completely waste what he did for you. There was no doubt that this voice came from Lin Tian's heart demon. Sister, let's listen to Lin Tian. Otherwise, as he spoke, it was as if there was something stuck in his throat. Bing wanted to say something, but he couldn't say it. Hesitation flashed across her face. Thinking of all that Lin Tian had done for her, Ying's original hesitation disappeared in an instant and was replaced by decisiveness and firmness. Hurry up and leave. Seeing that the two still didn't understand, Lin Tian was anxious. Others might not understand, but he was very clear about his current situation. Given his current situation, he could only last for a few dozen breaths at most. After this time, the crack would close up again. At that time, if the two didn't leave, his sacrifice would really be in vain. In the divine valley of the heavenly fate realm, Lin Rei's closed eyes opened, and a trace of sadness flashed across them. No, someone must have encountered danger, must. Otherwise, why will my Tao heart tremble? Feeling that something was wrong, he couldn't care less about those meaningless things at this moment. Closing his eyes, he activated the heavenly strategy art and his cultivation and began to deduce things related to himself. Slowly, as Lin Rei continued to deduce things, 10 minutes passed in the blink of an eye. Lin Rei didn't wake up, but he did, and only frowned. 1 hour, 6 hours, PFFF. A mouthful of old blood spurted out, and his face instantly paled, filled with sorrow. Little Tian, how could you? Just then, Linley had risked damaging his own cultivation base in his divinations. Finally, he was able to divine that Lin Tian's life force was rapidly fading away, and even his fated star was growing dim and lusterless. In a long river of time, each cultivator had their own fate star, and when the fate star changed, it represented their fate. If the fate star completely lost its light, it meant that the cultivator was completely powerless to reverse the situation. At this moment, Lin Tian's situation was heading towards that situation. So how could Lin Rei remain calm? For a moment, memories of Lin Tian involuntarily flooded Lin Rei's mind from the depths of his mind. Since that's the case, I hereby announce that from now on, I, Lin Rei, and Lin Tian are no longer part of the Lin family. From now on, we have nothing to do with you. And you, Lin Batian, are no longer my father. Everything about you has nothing to do with me. What? Hearing this, everyone present was stunned. They hadn't expected Lin Rei to do such a thing. Linley, it's all my fault. Don't worry, even if you don't have a cultivation base, I'll make sure you have a good life in the future. Lin Batian didn't know what to do with Linley's actions. Haha, father, don't you think that's a joke? I worked so hard to improve my strength, but because of one sentence from you, everything I've done in the past will go down the drain. What right do you have? You didn't care about me in the past, but now you want to care about me? Don't you think it's too late? Besides, I've never treated you as my father, so save it. As for my future, you don't have to worry about it. As Linley spoke, he was somewhat agitated. His eyes were red, and his body was trembling nonstop. Those red eyes of his were very frightening. PFFF. Lin Batian was about to say something when he heard a strange sound. He raised his head and saw Lin Rei's hand on his dantian. Blood was flowing from his mouth, and his chi was gradually weakening. Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. They hadn't thought that a 14-year-old boy could be so decisive. Cough, cough, haha, I have nothing to do with you anymore. As for my servant, my mother used her own money to buy him when she was still alive, so he doesn't belong to the Lin family. After saying this, Lin Rei limped out. Of course, this was all faked by Lin Rei's system. Brother Lei, what's wrong? Lin Rei heard someone call out to him when he was about to leave the hall. The person's voice sounded very intimate. Who are you? Lin Rei turned around and looked at the person. He didn't recognize him. No matter how hard he searched, he couldn't find anything related to this young man. Haha, I forgot. You've never seen me before, so how could you know me? Hearing Lin Rei's words, the young man smiled self-deprecatingly. Excuse me, may I know why you stopped me? Linley saw that the young man's expression was somewhat baffled and immediately became impatient. He didn't have much time left, And if he didn't leave now, his plan would be exposed. And at that time, he might really have to cripple his cultivation. I just wanted to say that you shouldn't hate Father. He has his own difficulties, so Lin Ray was furious. He thought that the young man had something to say, but Lin Ray didn't expect him to just be a lobbyist. That's enough. Don't talk to me about your difficulties. Even if you have any, they don't mean anything to me right now. They have nothing to do with me anymore. So goodbye. After speaking, Linley didn't even look back as he headed towards his own courtyard. Sigh, it seems like I'm too late. Looking at the situation now, it seems that Brother Lei already hates Father, the young man said helplessly when he saw Lin Ray walk away without looking back. Phew, I better hurry up. I've already wasted so much time. If I don't hurry up, I won't be able to make it in time. Lin Ray quickened his pace and soon arrived at his courtyard. Ah, young master, are you all right? Lin Tian, who was waiting for Lin Ray in the courtyard, ran over to support Lin Ray when he saw that his master's breath was weak. Lin Ray was touched by his servant's concern for him. He smiled at Lin Tian and said, "Haha, silly boy, do I look like I'm not all right? But the most important thing now is to leave Marshall City as soon as possible, or we'll be done for." Oh, Lin Tian didn't ask why. After hearing Lin Ray's words, he quickly helped Lin Ray out of the courtyard. At this moment, only Lin Ray and Lin Batian were left in the hall. Father, how can you do this? Brother Lei has finally been able to cultivate. Why do you have to cripple his cultivation? You're destroying his hope. Don't you think it's cruel? The young man stood up and shouted at Lin Batian. How can I not know? But Ray's right. I've never cared about him for so many years. When my disciple reported to me just now, I almost forgot about his existence. Don't you think it's ironic? Lin Batian stood up and walked out with a lonely expression. Lin Fong fell silent. He didn't know what to say. No matter what he said, it was too late. On the other side, Lin Tian helped Lin Ray out of Marshall City. Looking at the main road in front of him, Lin Ray was lost. He didn't know where to go. Young master, where are we going now? At this moment, the nearby Lin Tian asked Linley. Let's go to Wang Xinjian. That place isn't too far from the Forest Sky mountain range. We can go there for some training. As he spoke, Linley's gaze fell upon Lin Tian's face. Right. Young master, I'll go wherever you go. After speaking, Lin Tian supported Linley as they walked towards Wang Xinjian. At this moment, Lin Tian's innocent, childlike smile appeared in Linley's mind. This memory was still fresh in Linley's mind. This was where they had started off. Back then, Lin Tian had sworn to follow him to his death, not in a hurry at all. How could Linley not be anxious? But when he thought about how Lin Tian was about to die, he couldn't stay calm. But what could he do? He was just a small cultivator who hadn't even reached nascent soul. He couldn't leave this godforsaken place with just a teleportation formation. Thinking about how he neglected Lin Tian after entering the immortal world and God world, Lin Ray regretted it. If he could do it all over again, he wouldn't do it. Although he didn't know why Lin Tian would do this, with Lin Tian's God Emperor cultivation and the Xuanzong Sect, he couldn't figure out what kind of person would dare to do this. However, if Ruo Lin knew that Lin Tian was doing this to save his wife, he would probably go crazy. Because all of this was because of him. Because of him, Lin Tian had made such a decision. What should I do? What should I do? Little Tian, nothing must happen to you. Feeling Lin Tian's faded star dim, Lin Ray panicked. Yes, system. That's right, there's still system. Just as Lin Ray was in despair, the word system suddenly appeared in Lin Ray's mind. System, little dragon, I don't know if you can hear me, but the situation is urgent. Little Tian is in danger. Quickly go save him. As if afraid that the two wouldn't help, he said, You brought me here, so you have to take responsibility. If it weren't for you, I might have a chance to save him. So, you have to take responsibility. If Ruo Lin Tian dies, I'm afraid I won't be able to do what you want me to do. You can find another Hongmeng sovereign bloodline, but you know you don't have much time, and there aren't many people in the world with Hongmeng sovereign bloodline. You should know this. In the ancient, desolate realm of the gods, just as Lin Ray thought, the system and little dragon heard it clearly. This bastard boy, he dares to threaten me. Looking at the screen in front of him, The little dragon laughed and scolded. That's right, it was laughing. It wasn't angry because of Lin Rei's threat. Chapter 1037. Tisk, isn't it because you've always spoiled this kid? How could he speak to you like that? The system suddenly added a stab, and these words left Little Dragon speechless and even less angry. You can do that. Without waiting for Little Dragon to finish speaking, the system interrupted. This matter has already come to this. Just like what that brat said, if he gets up, I'm afraid it will be as difficult as ascending to the heavens to find a Hongmeng's supreme Taoist physique. You must know that the supreme Taoist physique of Hongmeng is 1 in 10,000. The probability of this physique appearing is 1 in 100 million. So, promise Lin Rei that you want to save Lin Tian? As if guessing the system's intentions, Little Dragon spoke. Yes, the system responded. There's no other way. This brat has already said so. If you don't do anything, I can't guarantee that he will do something crazy. You know his personality. If he really goes crazy, even you won't be able to stop him, much less me. The little dragon subconsciously wanted to refute the system's words, but as soon as the words reached his mouth, he choked and couldn't speak. There was no other reason. The system was right. He understood Lin Rei's personality. In Lin Rei's eyes, Lin Tian was his reverse scale. My reverse scale, those who touch it die. This was Lin Rei's creed, and it was also the thing he valued most in his life. All right, if that's the case, then let's go. The little dragon didn't even need to think. The system's existence was almost like a fantasy, and the only one who could really make a move was him. So, as long as you understand. F***CK. In response to the system's words, the little dragon laughed and cursed, and then his figure became illusory, until he finally turned into a ray of light and entered the soulless Lin Rei's body. Crack, crack, crack. In the next moment, a miraculous scene appeared. Lin Rei, whose eyes were originally closed, suddenly opened his eyes. A bloody light flashed through them, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly, revealing a soul-stirring smile. Not bad. Lin Rei's body is pretty good. But if I can refine a body that belongs to me as soon as possible, that would be perfect. Feeling the physical body without Lin Rei's soul, he was both excited and excited. However, under this complicated expression, there was also a trace of disappointment. Yeah, what a pity. He sighed and fell silent. Haha, you rascal. The system was very clear about the little dragon's words and feelings. Don't worry. Although Lin Rei is usually sloppy, he's very sad about what happened to you. I believe that you'll regain your physical body soon after we enter the Saint's world. At that time, you won't be bound by the system anymore. You'll be picked up by a human again and live a new life. AI. Hearing the system's words, the little dragon sighed. I hope so. I hope this will happen soon and don't disappoint me. Otherwise, as a person who had already died, to be able to be reborn was a very exciting and frightening thing for him. He was excited because Montgomery came back to life and returned to his hometown, to his family's side. As for fear, if one had to say, the little dragon was more afraid than excited because he was afraid that the hope that had originally been ignited would suddenly be extinguished. Therefore, he didn't dare to think about it, but he couldn't help but think about it. Don't be emotional. According to the speed of the space-time storm, if you don't hurry up, I'm afraid that when you arrive, only the endless void will be left for you. The system reminded. Damn, why didn't you say so earlier? The little dragon was no longer calm. He raised his hand and instantly released a terrifying power. The originally solid space was cut like tofu in the little dragon's hand, easily tearing a spatial crack. Huff, huff. With the appearance of the spatial crack, the astral winds that were trapped in the endless void seemed to have seen the light of hope. They rushed madly towards the god realm. This noble one is still so presumptuous. The little dragon was very clear about the horror of the battle. Of course, this level of astral winds was nothing to him, but to the god realm, it was destructive. He raised his hand, and with a wave of his sleeve, a gust of wind stronger than the astral winds appeared. In an instant, It rushed towards the astral winds like a tidal wave. Huff, huff! At this moment, the two types of wind collided. In an instant, the world seemed to have lost its original color, and the entire chaos realm of the gods began to shake under the collision of the two types of wind, as if it would collapse at any time. Damn, can you take it easy? The system seemed to have felt the fluctuation of spiritual energy in the outside world, and for a moment, it couldn't help but remind him. Don't you have any idea what your cultivation is? The system had no intention of hiding anything from the little dragon. Lin Rei's physical body is only at the level of a sage. If you use it a few more times like this, I'm afraid that what awaits Lin Rei's physical body is only collapse until it turns into ashes in the end. At that time, even if that stinking brat can successfully return, he will still have to start from scratch without a physical body. Hearing the system's words, the little dragon couldn't help but shiver, and his face was filled with fear. If it was really as the system said, then, thinking of that scene, the little dragon felt a chill run down his spine. Then, he hurriedly restrained his wife and adjusted the aura to a cultivation that Lin Rei's physical body could withstand. That's more like it. Seeing the little dragon's cultivation drop, and Lin Rei's physical body that was on the verge of collapse returned to normal, as if nothing had happened. Break for me. After dealing with the system, in order to avoid wasting time, the little dragon fully unleashed his domineering aura, and with a chop of his hand, his large cultivation rushed out. With a muffled boom, the astral wind that rushed out of the crack was instantly annihilated and turned into nothingness. It's finally quiet now. Looking at the calm crack, a smile appeared on his face. Whoosh! His figure flashed, and in the next moment, the little dragon disappeared from the origin desolate realm of gods. Destiny realm. After roaring to the sky, Lin Rei returned to normal. He understood that no matter how much he roared, it wouldn't have the slightest bit of meaning to save Lin Tian. The only thing he could do now was to use divination to observe the movements of Lin Tian's fated star anytime. Of course, Lin Rei had to pay a huge price for this. Because of his insufficient cultivation, every time Lin Rei used divination, his lifespan would sharply decrease. Fortunately, Lin Rei's cultivation was now on the right track. Otherwise, his pitiful little lifespan wouldn't be enough for him to squander. Little Tian, please don't let anything happen to you. He prayed silently in his heart. At the same time, for the people, things, and things that hurt Lin Tian, Lin Rei completely bore a grudge against them. In the void, where Lin Tian was, Ying and Bing had already escaped through the crack that Lin Tian had torn open. Finally left. The departure of Ying and Bing made Lin Tian's heart relax a lot. At least, he didn't have to worry about them anymore. Lin Tian, you should leave quickly too, although your cultivation will be greatly weakened because you can't reach my physical body. At least you can survive. The departure of the two women calmed Lin Tian's heart, and he turned to look at the inner demon. At this moment, Lin Tian no longer had the same feelings toward the inner demon as before. His killing intent was also gone. What did you say? However, Lin Tian's words made the inner demon jump. At the same time, a strange emotion appeared in his heart. You should leave quickly. The inner demon is like a dream now. I think the space-time storm here can't stop you. Although you'll be a little injured, it's good that you can survive. Hearing Lin Tian's words again, the inner demon was stunned and then fell silent. Lin Tian was right. The inner demon was formed by a person's negative emotions, so he wasn't afraid of the space-time storm at all. Of course, injuries were inevitable. Hurry up and leave. I can't hold on much longer. At that moment, Lin Tian's voice grew softer and softer. His black hair had turned snow white, and his aura was extremely weak. He was like an old man with one foot in the grave, and he could die at any moment. The inner demon was speechless. The inner demon didn't speak, but its eyes were fixed on Lin Tian as though trying to figure out what was on his mind. However, to the inner demon's disappointment, after staring at Lin Tian for so long, All it saw in his eyes was sincerity and nothing else. Are you serious? The inner demon confirmed once again. Yes, I'm serious. More real than real gold. Lin Tian replied without hesitation. Boom! As soon as the two of them confirmed, a loud explosion shook the void. All of a sudden, the spatial crack that Lin Tian tore was closing rapidly. Hurry! Hurry up, or it'll be too late. Upon feeling his strength disappearing, Lin Tian couldn't help but yell at the inner demon. Lin Tian's heart turned ice cold as he stared at the spatial crack disappearing bit by bit. As for the inner demon, it didn't move at all. Time passed quietly in the silence between the two of them. As time passed, the spatial crack that was torn closed sighed. There's no other way. I can't help you. Looking at the inner demon, Lin Tian felt apologetic. Seeing that the space-time storm was about to engulf him and the inner demon, a smile appeared on his face. He closed his eyes and waited for death to come. Young master, farewell. I won't be able to follow you anymore. At that moment, the only person Lin Tian could think of was Lin Ray. Only Lin Ray. He was an orphan from a young age. Later on, he was bought and placed by Lin Ray's side. He was very lucky. That was because his master Lin Ray didn't treat him like a servant. Instead, he treated him like a brother. With a master like that, what more could he ask for? He only felt a little regretful that he wouldn't be able to serve Lin Ray in the future. Closing his eyes, he waited for death to come. Time passed slowly. He didn't know how much time had passed. A day, a year, or even an eternity. However, in the end, Lin Tian, who was waiting for death, didn't feel any pain. And what's going on? Confusion welled up in his heart. Could it be that the space-time storm is too powerful, and I didn't even have the time to feel pain before my soul returned to the 9 heavens? With such doubts, he slowly opened his eyes. It was as if he wanted to investigate the 9 heavens in his heart. He opened his eyes and raised his head to look ahead. However, in the next moment, Lin Tian was stunned. He stood there like a wooden chicken. He didn't move at all. You? Looking at the back of the man before him, Lin Tian's heart trembled. A familiar feeling welled up in his heart. That shouldn't be the case. The back of the man before him made Lin Tian feel very strange. He was about to blurt out the name in his heart. However, in the next moment, this thought was rejected. No, that's impossible. Young master is in a lower plane right now. It's impossible for him to appear here. After saying that, as if he was comforting himself, he turned his head to look around. Not dead. The familiar surroundings caused Lin Tian to be both shocked and pleasantly surprised. Good things happen one after another. Little fellow, isn't it good that you're not dead? At this moment, the man standing before him spoke. An aged voice entered Lin Tian's ears. At this moment, he realized that the person before him wasn't the person he thought he was. Senior, dare I ask if Senior is a person? Why did you save me? According to my understanding, there shouldn't be any divine awareness between the two of us. We've never met before. May I know why Senior did this? Lin Tian asked with confusion. This bastard. However, at the back, after hearing Lin Tian's answer, the inner demon was stunned. A look of disdain flashed across his eyes as he cursed. Bastard, this is the first time. I don't want to see it happen again. Since you didn't kill me and were considerate of me, I'll let you go this time. If you do this again next time, don't blame me for being merciless. You. The inner demon's actions stunned Lin Ray. He didn't know why, but at this moment, he didn't have any mood to deal with these things. Now that the enemy was right in front of them, the internal struggle should be put aside, slowed down, and turned to face the enemy. Boom! The roar sounded again. Lin Ray and the inner demon's eyes were attracted by this loud noise. The person I want to protect is not someone you can touch. Looking at the completely out-of-control storm, a look of disdain flashed across his face. He raised his hand and rushed toward the space-time storm with a shocking sword will. The speed was so fast that it was almost beyond the scope of everyone's knowledge. Rip! The sound of something being torn apart suddenly rang in the ears of the brothers. Looking in the direction of the sound, they saw that wherever the sword will pass, the space along the way was filled with cracks. What happened suddenly stunned all the ferocious people present. They had never thought of this kind of strength. It was too strong. Just that blow, just now. They probably wouldn't be able to achieve this even if they used all their strength. Boom! With a loud rumble, the originally ferocious returning storm, which seemed to want to engulf all existences, suddenly stopped as if space had been sealed. The advancing space-time storm stopped its encroaching action. It seemed to be afraid of something and didn't dare to be happy. It's not too late to retreat now. Otherwise, you'll ruin my heartless cultivation. Ignoring the exclamations and reverence behind him, the little dragon looked up at the space-time storm and reminded, what is this senior doing? Chapter 1038. Still not retreating? After stopping for a while, the space-time storm was still wreaking havoc without any signs of retreating. At this moment, the little dragon frowned and snorted coldly. I originally wanted to let you go. Since that's the case, then die. Everyone listened to the little dragon's words and were very puzzled. They did not understand what the little dragon who possessed Lin Ray's body was doing. Was he talking to the space-time storm? Was the space-time storm alive? Or could the space-time storm understand his words? In this regard, Lin Tian did not speak and was in a state of observing. He felt a dangerous aura towards the Lin Ray in front of him. As for the young master in front of him, he did not feel a trace of familiar aura. It was as if the young master in front of him was someone he did not know. Although the body was Lin Ray's, Lin Tian felt that the soul in Lin Ray's body was not his young master's. Sigh. Forget it. I'll ask him later. Thousand Wind Blade. Suddenly, the little dragon moved. He raised his hand, and a strange incantation flashed. A bright light appeared in front of him. Slowly, the incantation slowly materialized until the last word, heaven, floated in front of the little dragon. Ha! It's been a long time since I used you, old friend. A touch of tenderness and nostalgia flashed in his eyes, as if he was facing an old friend he had not seen for many years. A miracle appeared. Hearing the little dragon's words, the heaven word suddenly vibrated, as if it understood the little dragon's words and was using this method to respond to the little dragon. It's good that you still remember me. I thought that you had forgotten me after not seeing me for so long. Seeing the Thousand Wind Blades' response, a smile spread across the little dragon's face. Yes, I understand. Since you came out, then, let me see what you're capable of. Since you haven't come out for so long, let's see if you can't retreat. Towards the Thousand Wind Blade, the little dragon acted as if he was chatting with a normal person. Lin Tian, who was watching from the side, was dumbfounded. He had never seen such a magical scene before. Lin Tian could feel that the Thousand Wind Blades were a kind of magic or battle technique, but when had there ever been a battle technique that had a mind of its own? It could be said that such a miraculous thing had never happened since ancient times. It seemed that this matter had exceeded his previous knowledge. Boom! The word heaven vibrated violently, and a golden sword condensed from the word heaven. Sword chi. A shocking sword chi suddenly appeared and soared into the sky. The long sword was like a king descending to the world. A king's chi gushed out. Hiss! Lin Tian sucked in a breath of cold air. At this moment, Lin Tian was completely shocked. He swore that Lin Tian's surprise was beyond his imagination. Swish! The long sword moved, and a golden light flashed. It was so fast that it seemed like a startled swan. In the blink of an eye, it disappeared in front of the little dragon. Because it was so fast, Lin Tian couldn't keep up with the speed of the long sword. He could only see a golden sword shadow flash by. However, when he saw the long sword again, it was in front of the space-time storm. The long sword stood in the sky, and a shocking sword chi soared into the sky. Gather! A dull sound rang out. At the place where the long sword was, a golden figure suddenly appeared. The figure kept growing until it reached a height of 300 meters. The long sword was held in the hand of a person that was 300 meters tall. Heaven's punishment, a shocking roar rang out. The long sword was quickly swung by the golden figure. It slashed down at the space-time storm from top to bottom. "Damn, this mother asterisk cur," Lin Tian exclaimed. At this moment, his worldview was refreshed. He felt that his previous life was like a dog's body. In a battle of this level, not to mention him, even Lin Ray, before he went missing, might not be this powerful. He might even be destroyed before he could get close to the golden figure. Rip! A tearing sound rang out. The appearance of this sound attracted the attention of Lin Tian and the little dragon. They looked up, and in the next moment, their gazes were fixed on the spot. That's it? The inner demon spoke. His tone was filled with shock. In the distance, the raging storm was torn in half by the long sword. In the next moment, the two halves of the storm seemed to have lost their main axis and dissipated in the air. Don't let me out of this kind of small fry in the future. Otherwise, even if you are the master of 1,000 wind blades, I will not show you any mercy. You should know my character. I know that you are very strong, and I know even more that I can't defeat you. However, you have to understand the words of a swordsman. A swordsman's words cannot be changed. After saying that, the golden figure glared at the little dragon. Remember what I said just now. There will be no next time. After saying that, his figure flashed and the golden light disappeared. The long sword also dissipated along with the golden figure. The shocking sword aura also completely disappeared in the air with the dissipation of the long sword. However, the ruler's aura that appeared on the long sword did not dissipate immediately. Lin Tian and the inner demon understood what the golden figure said before he left. He was saying it to the little dragon. Although it seemed to be a warning to the little dragon was still smiling. It did not seem to be affected by the golden figure's words. "Tisk, it's that again. It seems that you also said the same thing when you left last time." Looking at the place where the golden figure left, the little dragon was speechless. "That, young master." A weak voice came from behind. In response, the little dragon came back to his senses and turned to look. Lin Tian's figure appeared in the little dragon's line of sight. The little dragon was as familiar with Lin Tian as Lin Ray. Although Lin Tian did not know the little dragon had watched Lin Tian grow to where he was today. "Young master, previously, the divination pavilion calculated that you were not in the realm of the gods. Why are you now?" At this point, Lin Tian did not continue. The little dragon understood Lin Tian's words. A smile appeared on his face as he said, "I know what you want to say, but you don't have to worry about this. Obediently take Ing and Bing back to the realm of the gods. As for Lin, my matters, you don't have to worry about them." He instinctively wanted to say Lin Ray's name, but when he remembered that he was currently using Lin Ray's body, he hurriedly changed his words. "Let's forget about Lin Tian. Don't do this again. Remember, when you go back, cultivate properly." His gaze swept over Lin Tian's body from the inside out several times. His brows furrowed tightly. Although Lin Tian looked like he was injured at the very most, it was only after a thorough examination that he realized that Lin Tian was already at the end of his life. Any God Emperor would be able to kill him easily. When you go back, cultivate properly. With your current body, you should be able to barely make it back to the realm of the gods. As for what happens after that, you don't have to worry about it. When we return to the sect, use all the resources available to this little general to recover from his injuries. As he spoke, his gaze swept over the inner demon. Looking at him, the little dragon fell into deep thought. Little dragon didn't know what to say to this inner demon. Although he had helped in the space-time storm, at the last moment, he had sent Ing and Bing out. Just based on this point alone, the little dragon had the thought of showing mercy. On the other hand, when he felt the little dragon's gaze on the inner demon, Lin Tian panicked. He knew all about the inner demon's actions when the space-time storm came. "Young master, although the inner demon is the other side of me, you saw his actions just now." Lin Tian pleaded. He was different. The inner demon was suppressed by Lin Ray. At least in Lin Tian's heart, the inner demon wasn't unforgivable. "What do you mean? Little Dragon wasn't surprised by Lin Tian's actions. After all, he knew Lin Tian's character very well. I want to let him go. Let the queen, if possible, help him find a physical body. Let him live in that way. Is that so? Hearing Lin Tian's thoughts, the little dragon fell silent. It had to be said that Lin Tian's suggestion wasn't a bad idea. However, it required a huge amount of strength. Generally, no one would waste their time on the inner demon. Yes, young master, you can help. Although the inner demon represents killing, but yes. Before Lin Tian could finish, little Tian nodded in agreement. We'll do as you say. After all, he saved Ying and Bing. I won't sit by and do nothing. Saying that, his gaze fell on the inner demon. Are you willing to live in the way you mentioned today? Although that way won't be as fast as Lin Tian's cultivation, but if you're willing, I can choose a physical body with excellent talent for you. I wonder, are you willing? I'm willing. I'm willing. The inner demon was excited. Originally, she thought that she could obtain Lin Tian's physical body. However, it seemed that this was just wishful thinking. However, now that she had Little Dragon's assurance, the inner demon's heart was at peace. 0-inch, yes, in that case, let's go. Perhaps because he understood Lin Tian's current situation, Little Dragon directly waved his hand and forcibly created a crack in space. Then he stuffed Lin Tian and the inner demon into it. Remember, when you get back, hurry up and go cultivate. If I find out that you haven't cultivated after you get back, you know what I'll do. After saying that, before Lin Tian could say anything, the crack closed. In just the blink of an eye, Lin Tian and the inner demon's vision turned black. When they opened their eyes again, they were back in the divine realm. Furthermore, they were in the secret realm of the Xuanzong Sect. What kind of power is this? Looking at the familiar scene in front of him, Lin Tian was shocked. Very strong, very strong. At the very least, if I'm in front of him now, I won't be able to withstand even one move. My body will be destroyed, and I will never be reincarnated. So strong. Lin Tian was once again shocked by the inner demon's words. He knew that Lin Rei was very strong, but he didn't expect him to be this strong. He also knew the inner demon's strength. However, now that the inner demon had said so, it meant that Lin Rei's strength was really very strong. He was so strong that he could defy the natural order. Yes, the inner demon responded. Then, she turned around and found a clean and quiet place. She sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate. Lin Tian didn't disturb the inner demon. He smiled awkwardly and then found a place to cultivate like the inner demon. In the realm of destiny, on the peak of the divine valley, Lin Rei, who had his eyes closed, opened his eyes. A smile appeared on his face. Phew, it seems that the little dragon has taken action. Otherwise, Lin Tian would have been doomed. After finding out that Lin Tian and the others were safe, Lin Rei felt a lot more at ease. At the same time, through today's events, he understood one thing. Everything he was doing now could be seen by Xiaolong, and it was extremely clear. Otherwise, Lin Tian and the others wouldn't have been saved. Thinking of this, Lin Rei understood that the reason he was here was definitely related to the little dragon. However, he didn't understand why the little dragon was doing this. He didn't understand the meaning of the little dragon's actions. Thinking about it made his head hurt. He shook his head and stopped thinking about it. Forget it. Since it's the little dragon's arrangement, then so be it. After thinking it through, Lin Rei didn't think about it anymore. Because of this, his mind became clearer and clearer. In the Sword Sect, 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Lin Tian and Lu Changtian had taken action. The time left for the Sword Sect had just passed, and he was about to take action. As for the choice of the Sword Sect, it was up to them. Of course, he didn't care about this at all. After all, he had already done everything he could. As for whether he could seize the opportunity, it was up to Ling Jianzi to do it. He got up and walked out of the room. When the door opened, a ray of dazzling sunlight shone on Lu Changtian's face. The warmth made Lu Changtian feel much better. Although this weather isn't suitable for killing, but I can't care that much. I've been here for too long. I can't continue like this. Otherwise, the Lin family might change their mind. He thought to himself. Then, he stepped forward and disappeared from the spot. In the Sword Sect's main hall, a group of elders had gathered. The atmosphere was very gloomy. Everyone's face was more or less filled with sadness. After all, today was the day they had to make a choice. Wang Yu, as an existence of virtue and prestige in the sect, his words were usually highly valued by everyone. He lifted his head and looked at Huang Zhong. Then he looked at Ling Jianzi and said, "Senior brother sect leader, what do you think we should do about this? Although we can end this by handing over Huang Zhong, this would be letting junior brother Huang Zhong down. But if we don't hand him over, the sect will be implicated. What do you think?" As soon as he said that, everyone started to speak. After all, this was a very sensitive topic. That's right, Headmaster Senior Martial Brother. Junior Martial Brother Huang Zhong is the youngest among us. If we were to hand him over just like that, then wouldn't our Swords Gate become the kind of despicable people that betray their own brothers to survive? Senior Liu is right. If that is the case, then our sword sect will not be able to lift our heads up in front of the Fire Country and all the other countries. If that happens, how will our sword sect be able to hold our heads up high? Only size could express everyone's feelings. After all, both sides were flesh and blood. However, everyone forgot that they couldn't have their cake and eat it too. Chapter 1039. Tendo reincarnated, who will be spared by the heavens. In the main hall of the sword sect, there was a deathly silence. Suddenly, a very prominent voice entered everyone's ears. "He's here." Everyone was very familiar with this voice. Their hearts trembled, and they all understood that Lu Chantian, the killing star, had arrived. As for Lu Chantian, he was very clear about the situation in the main hall. "So, have you made a decision? Are you going to give up your entire sword sect, or hand over the culprit, Huang Zhong?" The words that Ling Jianzi and the others didn't want to hear the most had appeared. They were full of fear towards Lu Chantian because they couldn't hear the slightest emotion from Lu Chantian's mouth. It was as if he wasn't talking about a human, but an animal. Remember, this is the last deadline and also your last chance. You should understand that if you don't hand it over, your entire sword sect will be completely destroyed because of an elder. Of course, you can summon experts, but the final result will be the same. There will always be someone who wants to solve this matter, and a touch of interest appeared. "How strong do you think the experts you can summon will be? Are you sure they can kill me? Or should I say, kill my master?" When he said this, the corner of Lu Changtian's mouth twitched slightly. Others might not know, but he was very clear about his master's age. How could a teenager be called an elder? Of course, he had struggled at the beginning. After all, there was a gap in age between them. However, when he thought of the strength of the other party, he ignored these red tape. As the old saying goes, the one who reaches the top is the first. Since the other party came, it wasn't a big deal to say this. In any case, he was his master, so he wouldn't lose out. Lu Chantian's words choked Ling Jianzi and the others. Indeed, even if they invited experts, so what? According to Wang Yun's description, Lin Rei was a very strong super expert. Even if they defeated Lu Chantian now, so what? What about Lin Rei? Who would defeat Lin Rei? This was also the problem that Ling Jianzi and the others had been worrying about. They were most afraid that Lin Rei would personally take action. Although Ling Jianzi had never seen Lin Rei before, he could guess from Wang Yun's description that Lin Rei was the kind of person who killed people without batting an eyelid. He was a transcendent existence who treated all living beings as ants. "So, what's your decision?" Seeing that no one spoke, he knew that Ling Jianzi must be afraid of his master. Otherwise, he would not have acted like this. But only he knew that with his current level of power, although he was not as good as Lin Li, but at the very least, no one in the Fire Country or the surrounding countries would be a match for him. Even if there were, no one would be able to stop him if he wanted to leave. Not long ago, Lu Chantian had finally learned the butterfly steps from Lin Rei. Although he had only cultivated the butterfly steps to the initial stage of minute subtlety, He was certain that even if a martial saint came personally, he would not be able to catch him. Looking at Lu Chantian, Ling Jianzi stuttered. It was really difficult for him to make a choice. Both of them were his own flesh and blood. He really did not know how to choose. Rationally, he chose to protect the Sword Sect. However, in terms of brotherhood, he chose his brother of many years. This made Ling Jianzi feel very conflicted. He swore that he would never want such a thing to happen again in the future. It was too uncomfortable. He did not want to bear such a thing. Senior brother sect leader, you don't have to be so embarrassed. Suddenly, a middle-aged man's voice resounded throughout the hall. At this moment, everyone in the hall seemed to have been stared at by this voice. Everyone was stunned and looked at the person who spoke. Wasn't this person Huang Zhong, who did not want to follow Lu Chantian? Huang Zhong walked out of the crowd slowly and looked at the senior brothers present with an apologetic look. He was very clear in his heart. Today's incident happened because of him. He understood that his senior brothers were in a difficult position. Ling Jianzi and the others wanted to protect him, but now the enemy they were facing was too strong, so strong that they were powerless. Junior brother, seeing Huang Zhong walking out, Ling Jianzi came back to his senses. With an unsightly expression, he wanted to stop Huang Zhong. Unfortunately, it was too late. It was too late. Head senior brother, you don't have to be like this. This is all because of me. The sect has been passed down for thousands of years. I can't just watch it be destroyed like this. I also won't allow the sect to be implicated because of my personal reasons. As he spoke, his gaze once again fell on Lu Chantian, and a trace of unwillingness flashed in his eyes. I know that you are very strong, and I also know that your master is very strong, but it's impossible for me to surrender without a fight. There's a saying, this matter is my own fault. It has nothing to do with the sect. Just as you said, once I come out, you let the sect go. As he spoke, he paused for a moment before continuing, I wonder if this still counts? At this moment, everyone was dumbfounded. They didn't expect that their junior brother would do such a thing. Even Lu Chantian had a trace of admiration for Huang Zhong at this moment. He didn't expect Huang Zhong to take the initiative to come out and take the blame. This alone was worthy of his respect. Looking at Huang Zhong, Lu Chantian said, You are very good. If this incident didn't happen, perhaps we could become friends. Well, perhaps. But now, it's obvious that we can't be friends. But does your promise still count? Huang Zhong confirmed again. He had to ensure that Lu Chantian wouldn't harm the sect. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to absolve himself from the blame, even if he died 100 times. I promise. Lu Chantian nodded solemnly. I promise that as long as you take responsibility, I will let the entire Sword Sect go, and even your disciples go. Of course, the person who recommended Huang Fujing must also be punished. After all, without that person's recommendation, you wouldn't be in this situation today. Without that person's recommendation, the Sword Sect wouldn't be in such danger. Without that person's recommendation, innocent people wouldn't have lost their lives because of this. What do you think is right? After speaking, he stared at Huang Zhong as if waiting for an answer. However, Huang Zhong didn't deny Lu Chantian's words. Indeed, if no one had recommended Huang Fujing, this scene wouldn't have happened. The Sword Sect wouldn't have suffered such a calamity. The source of all this was that person's fault. But thinking about it carefully, if he hadn't nodded, this matter wouldn't have ended up like this. So, Huang Zhong fell silent. He didn't speak. One had to know that the person who recommended Huang Fujing was his disciple. Although this matter was mostly caused by that disciple. But, forget it, it's useless to say this. You won't say it? Seeing that Huang Zhong didn't speak, Lu Chantian frowned. His face was so cold that it made people tremble. Brother Lu, you see, my junior brother has already stood up for this matter. You see, this matter is settled like this. Wang Yin stepped forward and spoke to ease the situation. Yes, let's just forget about this matter. My junior brother has already stood up for this matter. For a moment, Ling Jianzi also spoke. However, in their hearts, they wanted to mention that person, but they understood what their junior brother meant. Looking at them one by one, Lu Chantian glanced at everyone. His originally frowning brows relaxed. Since you all want to do this, then forget it. But his originally relaxed face suddenly burst with killing intent. This matter is over. However, if I know that person's name in the future, I will hunt him down to the end. Even if the sky is broken, I will still pursue him. Although the result was not satisfactory, this matter was finally over today. Thinking of this, he looked at Guanzhou. A trace of killing intent flashed in his eyes. I'll give you a chance. Make your move. As long as you can defeat me, I can make the decision to let you go. Really? Hearing this, Huang Zhong was shocked. However, his face turned pale. He could feel the kind of pressure coming from Lu Chantian's body. He knew that he was no match for him. Yes, as long as you can defeat me, I will let you go. But, as he spoke, he paused. His killing intent soared to the sky. If you can't defeat me, you know the consequences. Yes, I understand. Huang Zhong nodded. Huang Zhong was very clear about the current situation. There was no worse situation than now. Since that's the case, let's start. Let's end this quickly. There are still many things waiting for me to deal with. He raised his hand and circulated his yuan force. His whole body was like an arrow on a bow, ready to shoot. Junior brother, don't panic. As long as you can defeat Brother Lu, you can live. Yes, junior brother. Although Brother Lu's cultivation is amazing, there is always a possibility. Ling Jianzi spoke. The others began to cheer for Huang Zhong. The whole scene was very comical. One could imagine the scene of a group of old men raising their fists and cheering at the side. I hope you all will still be in this mood later. Looking at them, Lu Chantian smiled bitterly and shook his head. Sorry for offending you. For Huang Zhong, with the encouragement of the brothers beside him, although there was not much change in his cultivation, he was motivated. Mysterious heaven palm, earth-shattering palm. In order to survive, Huang Zhong went all out. He used all of his cultivation, which was even more powerful than usual. His figure rushed out like an arrow and arrived in front of Lu Changtian in the blink of an eye. I must hit, I must. Huang Zhong prayed in his heart. Facing Lu Changtian, he did not have much confidence. Mysterious heaven palm. He had heard of the mysterious heaven palm. It was said to be created by a genius of the Tianyan kingdom. Its power was not to be underestimated. However, he heard that when the Tianyan kingdom was destroyed, the whereabouts of this martial technique were unknown. He did not expect it to appear here today. Oh good. Lu Changtian's thoughts came in an instant and disappeared in an instant. He looked up at Huang Zhong coming and going. Lu Changtian didn't panic at all. Raising his hand, he unhurriedly slapped towards the palm prints that filled the sky. Suddenly, a terrifying wave of origin energy was emitted from his palm. Boom! A roar resounded. Suddenly, the aftermath of the battle was so strong that the surrounding onlookers could not help but retreat quickly. Boom! Kacha! Kacha! Although the two of them were gone, the entire hall suffered a calamity. The large pillar that the two of them were hugging was shattered by the shockwaves of their battle. Rumble, the hall trembled like a dilapidated house trembling in the wind. It was as if a gust of wind could blow it away. Mysterious heaven palm. Its power is indeed not bad. It seems that what was recorded in the ancient book is not completely wrong. In the smoke, Lu Changtian's voice sounded in everyone's ears. Just a moment ago, Lu Changtian took Huang Zhong's attack head-on. From the attack, he experienced the mystery and power of the mysterious heaven palm. It was indeed as powerful as what was recorded in the book. You actually took the mysterious heaven palm's earth-shattering palm with your bare hands? Huang Zhong spoke. His voice was filled with shock and disbelief. He did not expect that his all-out attack would be so easily broken by Lu Changtian. He raised his head and looked over in shock. Lu Changtian looked at him with an amused expression. It was as if nothing had happened. Your mysterious heaven palm is indeed very powerful. I have to say that it surprised me. To be honest, Lu Changtian did not have any doubts about the mysterious heaven palm. If it was not for Huang Zhong's cultivation not being able to keep up, even he would have been at a disadvantage. But it's a pity, Lu Changtian continued. It's a pity that your cultivation is not able to keep up. Otherwise, it would have been impossible for me to escape unscathed. Lu Changtian's words were sarcastic to Huang Zhong. His cultivation was not good enough. Damn, is this what I think? If my cultivation was strong enough, you would not be able to do anything. This thought appeared in Huang Zhong's mind. However, he remained calm on the surface. How could he say such words out loud? Let's continue. After saying that, Lu Changtian moved. He wanted to end the battle quickly. After all, there were still important things waiting for him. Although I don't know the specific method of your mysterious heaven palm, I have comprehended a little from its form. Let's see how powerful my mysterious heaven palm is. He raised his hand and used a method similar to Huang Zhong's mysterious heaven palm. It was similar, but there were some differences. What? Raising his head and looking at the familiar scene, Huang Zhong was shocked. His heart was in turmoil. He had only seen it once, and now he could tell that it was extremely similar. If he continued to fight, then, thinking of this, Huang Zhong did not dare to think about it anymore. At the same time, he did not have the time to think about it, because the palm prince that filled the sky had arrived. Let me see how strong your cultivation is. Let's see if you can take this move. After saying that, the palm prince rushed towards Huang Zhong, without the slightest intention of showing any mercy. Boom, bang, bang, bang. At the next moment, a series of muffled sounds echoed in the hall. This sound was very familiar to everyone. Damn it! Hearing this sound, Ling Jianzi and the others' expressions changed. They felt that something was wrong. Immediately, they released their perception to explore the ruins. This, in their minds, the previous junior brother Huang Zhong was no longer there. Only his own blood was left. His aura was weak, and he was lying on the ground. His appearance was so miserable that it was unbearable to look at. Chapter 1040. Looking at Huang Zhong's tragic appearance at this moment, everyone knew in their hearts that he was defeated, thoroughly defeated, and there was no room for him to reverse the situation. However, they did not expect this result. Originally, they thought that Huang Zhong would be able to hold on for a while under Lu Changtian's attack. Unexpectedly, he was defeated in just one move, and he was so seriously injured. Boom! With a rumbling sound, Lu Changtian pushed a huge rock away and walked out of the ruins. As he walked, he patted the dust off his body, looking disdainful of his clothes. TSK, what a pity. It's a pity that your previous wrong decision has brought you such a price. Looking at Huang Zhong, Lu Changtian spoke slowly. It could be heard that Lu Changtian felt that it was a pity for Huang Zhong to die like this. Do you regret it? Cough, cough. In the ruins, hearing Lu Changtian's words, Huang Zhong, who was pressed down by a huge rock, coughed violently, as if he wanted to open his mouth to respond. Cough, Perhaps because of his serious injuries, Huang Zhong coughed violently when he opened his mouth, and his face was red because of the violent coughing. I regret it. Hearing this sentence, everyone present was stunned. That's right, Huang Zhong did regret it. He regretted that he listened to other people's recommendations and did not accept a disciple based on his own feelings. He regretted that he accepted Huang Fujing as his disciple, which led to the current situation. He regretted that he ignored these senior brothers of his in the past. He regretted that he had done all the wrong things in the past. Unfortunately, it was too late now. He could vaguely see the grim Reaper waving at him with a smile. This feeling was the most unpleasant feeling he had ever experienced in his life. Well, it's good that you know regret. Lu Changtian appreciated Huang Zhong's frankness very much. After all, some people would find excuses before death in order to save their own lives. Oh, that's good? Lu Changtian's words were so sarcastic to Huang Zhong. What did he mean by that? If he had a choice, if he had known that it would be so difficult, he would have carefully reviewed the Huangfu family's character and not carelessly accepted it just because it was recommended by his disciple. Now that he thought about it, he was indeed careless, and it was because of his carelessness that he became like this. Unfortunately, it was too late. So what if he regretted it? Could it be that he could survive? Too naive. He understood his current situation. He understood that he had been defeated, and what awaited him was only death. Only death would be the best ending for him. Only then would he be able to repay the people he had indirectly killed. All right, let's cut the crap. Since you regret it, remember to be a good person in your next life. Don't be a fool like you are now. As he spoke, he raised his hand, and the spear floated into the air. Go! The spear moved under Lu Changtian's command. The spear rushed out instantly like a spear, and in the blink of an eye, it was about to pierce Huang Zhong's body. Bang! There was the sound of weapons colliding, and the spear was bounced away. A figure quickly retreated, and a deep hook appeared on the ground. Seeing that his attack was blocked, Lu Changtian frowned and turned his head to look. Wang Yun, what are you doing? That's right, the person who retreated was Wang Yun, and in front of Huang Zhong, there were already people standing. Everyone looked nervous. They were also afraid that they would lose their lives here, but when they thought of their brother's situation, it was not a big deal. Wang Yun, who was retreating, felt the powerful impact, but his body still did not stop. For a moment, Wang Yun waved his hands, and the long sword was inserted into the ground to stop his retreat. Brother Lu, for the sake of our friendship, let go of my junior brother. After understanding Lu Changtian's situation, Wang Yun did not wait for Lu Changtian to speak. You said it yourself. Regarding the Lin family, if you let my junior brother go, I guarantee that he will stay in the Lin family for the rest of his life and protect the Lin family. With the Lin family as the center, he will not let anyone have the chance to destroy the Lin family. At this point, he was afraid that Lu Changtian would not agree, so he looked at him suspiciously. Silence. Lu Changtian was silent about Wang Yun's suggestion. However, this idea was still very good. It was actually not a bad thing to let Huang Zhong guard the Lin family. Indeed, Wang Yun's idea stopped in everyone's ears. This kind of person was excited because this idea might be able to save his brother's life. Brother Lu, why don't we just let this matter go? Let my junior brother go to the Lin family to atone for his sins. What do you think? Everyone's eyes were filled with anticipation. They were very much looking forward to Lu Changtian stopping here. Looking at everyone's current expressions, Lu Changtian flashed a smile. To be honest, he did not want to make a move on Huang Zhong either. However, he did not have a good excuse. However, it was different now. Now that he had an excuse to take the initiative to come to him, it meant that Huang Zhong did not need to be killed. Furthermore, he could complete the task given to him. Thinking of this, how could he not be happy? How could he not be excited? He raised his head and looked at the half-dead Huang Zhong. Sigh, Huang Zhong, since so many people are pleading for you, I will do my master a favor and let you go. However, you must enter the Lin family and forever protect the Lin family. You must follow the Lin family blindly and never do anything that betrays the Lin family. I wonder if you are willing? Once those words were said, everyone present was startled. After thinking for a while, smiles appeared on their faces. They nodded repeatedly. Agreed. Dragging his tired and aching body, he came before Lu Changtian. With a plop, he directly knelt on the ground. I, Huang Zhong, swear in this lifetime that as long as I, Huang Zhong, am alive, I will protect the Lin family and never betray them. Boom! Once Huang Zhong made his vow, the originally clear sky suddenly darkened. Of course, this scene only lasted for an instant. It was as if the sky was responding to Huang Zhong's vow. Amen. If that's the case, then this matter is over. You can keep your life for now. Thank you. Knowing that he was fine now, Huang Zhong was so excited that he couldn't control himself. Amen, that's enough. Hurry back and get treated. I'll give you 2 days. After 2 days, we'll go to the Lin family. Looking at everyone, he left these words and disappeared before everyone's eyes. Plop, plop. Lu Changtian's figure disappeared before everyone's eyes. Everyone seemed to have lost all their strength and fell to the ground one by one. He let out a long breath of turbid air. His face was full of smiles as if he had just survived a great disaster. Finally, this matter is finally over. In the Divine Valley, Lin Ray, whose eyes were tightly shut, opened his eyes. A glint flashed through his eyes. It seems that this little guy really didn't take my words seriously. Perhaps even Lu Changtian himself didn't know that when he left, Lin Ray had placed a 10,000 miles talisman on his body. Everything that happened to Lu Changtian could be recorded in Lin Ray's mind. Master. Seeing Lin Ray's arrival, Lu Changtian's expression changed. His head immediately drooped. Thinking about how he was tortured by Lin Ray in the past year, just thinking about it made him shudder. Amen. Looking at the two of them, Lin Ray responded and finally stood between them. I didn't expect the two of you to exchange pointers, but turning his head, his gaze fell on Lu Changtian. Kid, are you injured? No. Lin Ray's words stunned Lu Changtian. He didn't expect Lin Ray to ask such a question. This was obviously very different from the usual Lin Ray. If he had seen such a thing happen before, he wouldn't have appeared. On the contrary, he would have stayed in the dark and waited until Lu Changtian was tortured beyond recognition. But now, amen, that's good. Hearing that Lu Changtian was fine, Lin Ray let out a long breath. Since you're fine, pack up and leave the Divine Valley. What? Two shocked voices sounded at the same time. Obviously, it was Lu Changtian and Xueling Tian. Looking at the two of them, Lin Ray understood. I'm only letting you leave because of a promise from a year ago. A year ago? Hearing this, Lu Changtian recalled. That's right, a year ago, his master had personally said that he would only give the Sword Sect 1 year. Within 1 year, he would be sent to the Sword Sect to challenge and exterminate them. Now, 1 year had passed. With his current strength, Lu Changtian was very confident that not a single person in the Sword Sect would be able to escape from him. However, he had some friendship with the Sword Sect, so Lu Changtian had always thought that this was a joke and didn't take it seriously. But now, it seemed that he had misunderstood Lin Ray's intentions. Seeing that Lu Changtian was deep in thought, Lin Ray spoke up. I think you've realized that a year ago, I wasn't joking when I told you to exterminate the Sword Sect. Of course, this is just one of your many missions. What else is there, Master? Lu Changtian couldn't disobey Lin Ray's orders. When you return this time, the first thing you'll do is to exterminate the Sword Sect. As for the second thing, after pondering for a moment, he continued, it's very simple. After you return and deal with the Sword Sect, go to the Lin family and see how the Lin family is doing. If the Lin family encounters any trouble, just deal with them. However, you must remember that if you don't remove the roots, they will grow again when the spring breeze blows. Just like the Lin family, if you encounter any other family that tries to harm the Lin family, you don't need to know who did it. Just exterminate them. Also, spread the word that if anyone dares to harm the Lin family, they will end up like the Sword Sect. Lin family? Are you really the Lin family member who was in a coma for 8 years? Although he had followed Lin Ray for more than a year, Lu Changtian didn't dare to ask too much about his affairs. Now that he heard him say this, he was confused. You could take it that way. Of course, this is only a temporary body that I'm living in. One day, I will return to my original body. Lin Ray didn't intend to hide anything from Lu Changtian. What? Lu Changtian was shocked. What did he mean by temporary body? What did he mean by returning to his original body in the future? This kind of method shocked him. That's enough. This matter isn't what you think now. When you reach a certain height, you will be like me. Seeing Lu Changtian's reaction, Lin Ray interrupted him. Remember my words. After you leave, go to the Sword Sect. I'll leave the Sword Sect matters to you. As for the specifics, you can do as you see fit. I trust that you won't make your master busy. As for the Lin family, tell my mother that I'm fine and don't let her worry. If they ask when I will return home, tell them that it will be 3 years. Only a little over a year has passed, so there are still 2 years left. I will definitely return home in 2 years. Then Lin Rei told Lu Changtian some things to pay attention to. Other than the sword sect matters, the rest were related to the Lin family. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, an hour had passed. Lin Rei finally stopped talking. Plop! Suddenly, Lu Changtian knelt on the ground and kowtowed twice. He looked at Lin Rei with gratitude. Master, thank you for accepting me as your disciple. If it wasn't for you, I would still be a frog at the bottom of a well. If it wasn't for you, how would I know that the world of cultivation is so wonderful? If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have the strength that I have today. Haha, get up. This is just the beginning. With a wave of his hand, a majestic spirit energy rushed out. A hand formed from spirit energy lifted Lu Changtian up from the ground. Okay, go quickly. He waved to Lu Changtian and then turned to Shui Lingtian. Go and send Changtian out of the Divine Valley. Oh, why me? Shui Lingtian looked at Lin Rei and asked. Because I'm strong. You don't want to accept it? A look of if you don't accept it, come and fight me. Bastard. Seeing Lin Rei like this, Shui Lingtian felt depressed. He cursed inwardly, but then agreed. Okay, I'm most willing to do this. PFFF. Seeing Shui Lingtian like this, Lu Changtian directly laughed without caring about his image. It wasn't that Lu Changtian was easily amused. It was just that this was the first time he saw Shui Lingtian being humiliated like this. It was hard for him not to be unhappy. Are you still going or not? Perhaps it was because Lin Rei was beside him or something, but Shui Lingtian roared at Lu Changtian's laughter. Then he twisted his huge body and rushed toward the exit of the Divine Valley. Haha, enough. Hurry up and follow him. Sensing Shui Lingtian's current expression, Lin Rei smiled and didn't mind. He said to Lu Changtian, Amen, I understand, Master. Thinking of what that cheap disciple of his told him before leaving, he didn't take it to heart at all. TCH, isn't this what you wanted to see? Shui Lingtian's voice entered Lin Rei's ears. That's true. Thinking of what that cheap disciple of his did, he couldn't deny that this was the best result he could give. However, he only thought that Lu Changtian wouldn't be so ruthless as to exterminate his family. However, he didn't think that even the main culprit wasn't stupid. Thinking of that Huangzhong, Lin Rei wanted nothing more than to kill him. However, thinking that he would be protecting the Lin family, his hatred for Huangzhong lessened a lot. Forget it. Since it's your decision, I'll respect it. However, I hope that you won't disappoint me. Chapter 1041. Liansheng, the Lin family. Now, the Lin family was shrouded in dark clouds. Their days were filled with silence. It was as if something had happened, causing the entire Lin family to sink into silence. Sigh. Could it be that the heavens really want our Lin family to perish? Now, almost all of the direct descendants are gone, and those from the side branches are almost completely wiped out. If the situation continues to develop at this rate, I'm afraid it won't be long before our Lin family is completely wiped out in the Fire Country. What should we do? Master Lin, who was sitting at the head of the table, looked haggard. His hair was white, and he seemed to have lost his vitality. Logically speaking, with the old man's current cultivation and age, this should not have happened. The old man, who was supposed to be in the prime of his life, had become like this. Father, don't think about that matter anymore. After all, it's not what you want to happen. Off to the side, Linley's mother, Firecloud, watched as her grandfather slowly grew more and more haggard. She felt unbearably guilty, but she could only watch helplessly. During this period of time, the descendants of the clan had died one after another. Not only the old master, but even she was mentally and physically exhausted by this matter. If it wasn't for her son who was away, she was afraid that she wouldn't be able to hold on. How can you not blame me? In front of the old man, sadness gushed out. I am the head of the Lin family. I am supposed to protect the Lin family in this life. Not to say that I am rich, but at least I am not worried about my life. But now the clan's disciples are either dead or injured. Furthermore, the clan's business has been destroyed by my hands. 3 out of 4 of my sons have died. This scene has caused me to be ashamed to face my ancestors. I, 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 I. A tear flashed, flowing from the corner of his eye to his cheek. He was even more sad. Who said that a man of steel wasn't gentle? As the old saying goes, men don't cry easily. It's just that they haven't been hurt to the core. Now that the old man's heart was broken, he was powerless to stop everything that was happening in front of him. He was tired. Father, seeing the old man so sad, Hui Yun wanted to say something to dissuade him. But as soon as the words left his mouth, he felt as if he was choked by something and couldn't say what he wanted to say. She could not say what she wanted to say. In the end, she could only sigh and end the conversation. Sigh if Ray was here, maybe the family's difficulties could be resolved. A glimmer of hope flashed through the old man's lifeless eyes. However, it was only a glimmer of hope, and it was gone in a flash. Then, it returned to normal. No. Huiyin hurriedly refused the old man's suggestion. This was the second time she had heard the old man say this. Previously, she had refused once. Although she had seen how powerful her son was, as a mother, she didn't want her son to return to such a dangerous place at such a time. Although she had some inkling of how powerful Linley was, she still couldn't accept it. Sai, don't be so agitated. Hearing his daughter-in-law's roaring voice, the old man froze awkwardly and hurriedly tried to dissuade her. I was just thinking about it. It was just a casual remark. Ray is the Lin family's only hope. How can I bear to let him return at this time? Indeed, as the only son of the third generation, Lin Ray, the old man would not let him return at this time. I understand. After she said that, the two of them looked at each other and stopped talking. The scene fell into silence again. Lu Changtian and his group arrived at the city gate. 5 days. For 5 days, Lu Changtian and his group traveled day and night. Finally, on the 5th day, Lin Tian, Lu Changtian and his group arrived at the city gate where the Lin family lived. Beat him up. Beat him to death. Let's see if he dares to disobey our city lord again. A loud noise came from the city gate and entered the ears of Lu Changtian and his group. What's going on? Hearing the noise coming from the front, Lu Changtian frowned and his face darkened. As the former city lord, he knew that the control of Lian City belonged to the Lin family, but he didn't remember the Lin family being so arrogant and despotic. Sai, what a sin. A good young man because he didn't pay the entrance fee. In the end, at this time, 2 people passed by Lu Changtian. One of them sighed, but before he could finish, he was interrupted by the other person who made a gesture to keep quiet. You can't say that. His face was filled with fear as he looked around. He was afraid that someone would hear what he was about to say. He was especially vigilant. Times have changed. The era of the Lin family is over. The Long family entered the city, and the Lin family hid in the Lin family. Now, the Long family is the emperor of Lian City. As the saying goes, the mountain is high and the emperor is far away. Even if the emperor knows, he won't say anything. Officials protect each other. Moreover, the Long family offers many rare treasures to the royal family every year. Sigh. When these words were said, the two shook their heads and sighed. Their faces were filled with anger. The two of them did not know that their conversation brought a huge amount of information to Lu Changtian. Long family. Lu Changtian was filled with doubts about this unfamiliar family. He had never heard of this Long family. However, just in case, when Lu Changtian heard about this family, he searched through his mind. He wanted to see who exactly this Long family was. Similarly, if the Long family was in control of Lian City, then what about the Lin family? When he heard the conversation between the two people, Lu Changtian was even more puzzled when he heard that the Lin family hid in their home and did not come out. The Lin family used to be an existence that no one dared to offend. They were a family that could make the entire Yin country tremble with a stomp of their feet. However, now, Lu Changtian's expression changed again and again. Each time, it was uglier and gloomier than the last. Wang Yun and the others understood Lu Changtian's expression. Their hearts skipped a beat. They understood that the Lin family was in trouble. In that case, they had something to do next. Brother Lu, Wang Yin said, let's go into the city. After saying that, he walked towards the city gate. Lu Changtian decided that this time he had to completely clear the obstacles in front of the Lin family. It did not matter if there were experts in front of them. He could not do it. Lin Rei was still around. He believed that if Lin Rei made a move, no one in the entire continent would be a match for him. Moreover, he also believed that with his current strength, even if he could not conquer the entire continent, he could still do it in a place like the Yin country and Lian City. Let's go. Looking at Lu Changtian's back, Wang Yun felt pity for those troublemakers. I hope you don't go too far. Otherwise, Lu Changtian did not know what Wang Yun was thinking. If he knew, he would definitely laugh. It was not because of anything else, but because Wang Yun thought too simply. The reason why he tolerated the Sword Sect again and again was because although the Sword Sect was wrong, they did not deserve death. However, now that the Lin family was in trouble, this was Lin Rei's home. Anyone who offended the Lin family would definitely be killed. Even if it was just verbally insulting the Lin family, Lu Changtian would also be killed. His thoughts represented Lin Rei's thoughts. However, if it was Lin Rei, he would probably do something even more terrifying than Lu Changtian. If one person insulted, the entire family would be exterminated. If one person from the Lin family was injured, the entire Lian city and even the forces behind them would be destroyed. Even if some people did not know about this, they would still have to die. There was no other reason other than that they were familiar with the person who insulted and hurt the Lin family. That was all. A group of people lined up. Lu Changtian talked a lot about beating, insulting, and humiliating the people who entered the city. Some of the city guards even wanted to forcefully drag the young girls into their rooms to humiliate them physically. Regarding this scene, the people present could be said to be angry but did not dare to say anything. Bastard, you have really disgraced the Yin country soldiers. Just when the vicious man was feeling aggrieved, a loud shout was heard. The murderous intent in the voice was imprinted in everyone's heart. The loud voice attracted everyone's attention, including the city guards who were about to drag the young girls into their rooms. At this moment, everyone was stunned on the spot, especially the passers-by who were next to Lu Changtian and the others. The shock on their faces was shocking to the eye. Who is it? Who is speaking? Do you not want to live anymore? How dare you speak so arrogantly to the guards of the Long family? The guard who had been sitting on a chair at the city gate, like an official, was the first to regain his senses. His expression was gloomy as he swept his gaze over the crowd. His gaze immediately fell on Lu Changtian. The moment the guard's gaze fell on Lu Changtian also looked at him. After the two pairs of eyes met, Lu Changtian's murderous intent completely erupted. It's you. Looking at Lu Changtian, the guard's tone was cold and sinister. Oh, that's right, it's me. Looking at the guard, a murderous intent flashed. He said, as a soldier of the Yin country, how dare you treat the people of the Yin country like this? Don't you know that the people are the foundation of the country? Looking at him, Lu Changtian said word by word, looking like a superior who was reprimanding his subordinates. Aren't you afraid of being punished by the heavens for acting so rashly? Everyone at the side was completely stunned. As people who had lived under oppression for a long time, they had long had enough of those days where they were neither human nor ghost and were like animals. However, because they had no strength to truss up a chicken, they were powerless and could only be bullied by others. Now, hearing someone reprimand these evil people, the passers-by were very excited. However, when they thought of the other party's strength, some of them couldn't bear to speak and tried to dissuade him. Young man, you should leave quickly. These people are not to be trifled with. The Long family is very powerful in the entire Lian city and even the entire Yin country. You are still young and have many days ahead of you. Don't get into danger because of this matter. Yes, young man, leave quickly. Otherwise, it will be too late. Leave quickly. Dissuading laughter rang out one after another. Lu Changtian's heart tightened. After all, he used to be the city lord and hated these people the most. Leave. With a cold snort, he ignored the crowd and looked at the leading officer. The murderous intent in his eyes grew stronger. Today, the entire Lin city will return to the Lin family. No one could change this. It's useless to just come to the Yin country. Lu Chantian said it. Boom. The moment these words came out, the crowd exploded, especially the soldiers who were guarding the city. Their faces were all red and looked very funny. Is it possible? When the people of Lin City heard Lu Changtian's words, they only had these 3 words in their hearts. Is it possible? Yes, is it possible? Is it possible to liberate the entire Lin City? With the existence of the Long family, is it possible to return it to the Lin family? Boom! A shocking murderous intent flashed. The officer who was looking at Lu Changtian released his cultivation. The old man, Lu Changtian, had a long sword in his hand. The sword was pointed in the direction of Lu Changtian. This aura was so strong that ordinary people couldn't get close to him. Of course, it was only ordinary people. In Lu Changtian's eyes, this officer in front of him was just a clown trying to please the crowd. Heh, you are very courageous. Looking at the officer holding the sword, a devilish expression appeared on Lu Changtian's face. Since that's the case, then die for me. Xiao. After finishing his words, Lu Changtian's figure suddenly disappeared in front of everyone. No one could react to this. Even Wang Yun and the others couldn't react, let alone some ordinary people who didn't know how to cultivate. The sound of flesh being pierced was heard, and a figure flew out. With such little strength, you still dare to commit crimes. I really don't know who your Long family is to dare to cause trouble in Lin City. Plop! The figure that flew out fell. His body was soft and powerless, as if all the bones in his body had been broken. There was no vitality in his body at all. This, Wang Yun exclaimed. He was the first person to come back to his senses. In Wang Yun's vision, the officer from before was lying on the ground in the distance. His body was lifeless, and at the place where the officer's heart was, a fist-sized blood dragon appeared. Scarlet and boiling blood flowed out continuously like a fountain. This, after an unknown period of time, the sound of someone sucking in a cold breath sounded in the field. At this moment, everyone came back to their senses and understood the officer's situation. Today, Lin City will once again belong to the Lin family. This cannot be changed for thousands of generations. If you're not convinced, you can give it a try. As soon as he said this, the spies from all over the country began to get busy. After saying this, he ignored the shock and excitement in everyone's hearts and turned his head to look at Wang Yun and the other martial cultivators from the Sword Sect. Before I enter the Lin family, I don't want to see the Long family again, and I don't want to hear any news of their existence. Remember, I don't want a single one of them to be left alive. Even if it's a servant in the Long family, or even the livestock raised by the Long family, I don't want them to be alive. If I find out that you secretly let a person and an animal go, then I'll take your lives. Do you understand? Remember, be a good person in your next life. Don't be like this life, or else. Poochie, a bloody light flashed. In an instant, a bloody light flashed across the throats of more than 10 city gate guards. Scarlet blood spurted out from their throats. The scene was extremely horrifying. A scream rang out from the crowd. From the sound of it, one could tell that the girl and the child were frightened by the scene of the murder. Sigh, I hope that this time, I'll be able to completely wipe out the scourge of the Lin family. Otherwise, if Master finds out, I'm afraid. Thinking of Lin Rei's strength and his vengeful nature, the entire Lin city would probably be reduced to a living hell. That scene, even Lu Changtian found it terrifying when he imagined it. Forget it. Let's settle this quickly and go back. As he thought about it, he turned his head to look at the ordinary people behind him. A smile appeared on his face, and his tone became very gentle. He was completely different from the martial cultivator who killed without batting an eyelid. You heard what I said just now. From today onwards, there is no more Long family in Lin City. You will return to your old days and do what you should do. You will be protected by the Lin family. Everyone, the scene was silent. No one spoke. It was as if time had stopped. Everyone was frozen in place. Seeing the expressions on everyone's faces, Lu Changtian was taken aback. Then he snapped out of his daze and stepped into the city. Is this true? Are we really free? Not long after Lu Changtian left, he looked at the city gate with tears in his eyes. His voice trembled as he looked at the city gate and muttered to himself. Is this true? I hope so. After being suppressed for so long, they still didn't dare to believe that they were truly free. It could even be said that they didn't believe that this matter was real. Lu Changtian stepped into the city. It was completely different from what he had imagined. There was no bustling scene in the city. There were no people coming and going. There was no endless traffic. There were only silent streets and empty city. How could this be? Looking at the scene in front of him, Lu Changtian was stunned. He had heard of Lian City before. Although it was a remote city, it shouldn't be so desolate. What kind of existence is the Long family to be able to turn a bustling city into such a state? In the center of the city, there was a grand mansion. Two large jade lions stood at the entrance. They were like two guardian deities. They were ferocious, terrifying, and filled with deterrence. In the center of the mansion, two large golden words were printed on the plaque. The words were particularly generous and filled with the aura of a great family. Long Mansion, this is it. At this moment, Wang Yun and the others arrived at the entrance of the Long Mansion. Looking at the grand courtyard, they were stunned and speechless. I didn't expect the Long Mansion to be so extravagant. It's not inferior to the Imperial Palace in the capital at all. If you compare the Imperial Palace to this courtyard, other than the difference in size, the decorations were not inferior to the Imperial Palace at all. Huang Zhong, who was following behind Wang Yun, saw that they stopped. His heart jumped, and he hurriedly urged, "Senior brother, since we've come to the Long Mansion, let's directly take action." He was now deeply grateful to Lu Changtian. Moreover, he was now in the time to curry favor with him. Therefore, doing things was the only way he could curry favor with him. All right. Wang Yin understood Huang Zhong's thoughts. A wry smile flashed across his face as he nodded in agreement. Let's go. The sooner we finish this, the sooner we can finish this. All right. After receiving Wang Yun's order, Huang Zhong and the others did not just watch. With a wave of their hands, a sword beam rushed out. The moment the sword beam collided with the door of the Long Mansion, the door of the Long Mansion exploded with a bang, and a passage appeared in front of everyone. Who is it? Who dares to barge into my Long Mansion? At this moment, an explosive shout came from within the Long Mansion. It turned out that just now, the young man guarding the door was sitting in the room, listening to a tune and drinking wine. However, the sudden explosion gave him a fright, and his mood instantly turned bad. He stood up and went to the door. When he saw that the door had become tattered, he was shocked. He was just a guard. Now that the door had been destroyed, he could not bear the responsibility. However, the person who destroyed the door had to pay the price. He raised his head and looked out of the hole. Wang Yun and the others were looking at him aggressively. You, who are you? Why did you destroy my Long Mansion's door? Looking at the terrifying aura emitted by the group of people, the imposing manner that was originally looking for trouble instantly disappeared. Kill. Without saying anything, Wang Yun only had one word for the people who appeared in his field of vision. What? You. The young man guarding the door was afraid. As the Long family's guard, he was usually arrogant and bullied others. But now, the other party had not only barged into the Lin family, but also wanted to kill them. This made his brain not listen to him. What the hell is going on? Poochie just as the young man thought that, he felt pain in his chest. The vitality in his body quickly receded, and his consciousness gradually blurred. Soon, he felt that the ground in front of him was limp on the ground. Kill them. Leave no one from the Long family alive. Seeing that the killing had begun, he immediately spoke. He took the lead and rushed into the Long family and started wantonly killing. Who are you? Why no? No. Father, save me. I don't want to die. Father, At this moment, the Long family could be said to be endlessly screaming and begging for mercy. Even the streets could hear the voices coming from the Long family. Oh, who is this? They dare to do this to the Long family. Don't they know how powerful the Long family is? TCH, the Long family. I think the Long family is in trouble today. I don't know who the Long family offended. They actually have such powerful strength and dared to kill their way into the Long family. They're too powerful. Yeah. Although there were screams coming from the Long family, in the eyes of the passers-by, the Long family was an existence that could not be shaken. No one thought highly of the people who had barged in. Similarly, the Lin family also received the news of the Long family's actions. This news could be said to be a pleasant surprise to the Lin family. Master Lin, who was originally worried about this matter, jumped up happily like a child when he heard this news. However, he was puzzled by this mysterious power that suddenly appeared to protect the Lin family. According to the information sent back by the spies, the old man was certain that he and even the entire Lin family did not have the slightest bit of friendship with this power. It could even be said that they did not know this power. What's going on? Where did this power come from? Why are they protecting my Lin family? This question occupied the old man's thoughts. On the other side, Wang Yun and the others were completely bloodshot. No matter who it was, as long as they were in the Long family, they could not avoid the fate of being slaughtered by Wang Yun and the others. And in the depths of the Long family, the head of the Long family, Long Ming, received the news that his family had been breached. He also knew how powerful and how many people had come. Bang! Long Ming raised his hand and slammed it on the table in front of him with elemental energy. His entire face was bone-chillingly cold, and his killing intent was exposed without any concealment. Who is it? Has the other party identified themselves? Do you know which power they are from? With a cold face, he asked the subordinate kneeling below. In his opinion, with the existence of a power behind the Long family, no one should be so reckless. In his guess, he had automatically filtered out the sections. After all, in the secular world, people from sects were not allowed to participate. However, if it was not a sect, he really could not think of who could be so rampant inside. I don't know. His body trembled, and his face was filled with fear. As a subordinate, he was very clear about his family head's character. Moreover, Long Ming's character was famous in the entire circle for being irritable, bloodthirsty, narrow-minded, and vengeful. Even his own family members might not be able to obtain Long Ming's trust. You don't know. After getting this answer, Long Ming narrowed his eyes, and his killing intent became even more vigorous. You want to dismiss me with just a you don't know? Then what did I raise you for? Although he was not afraid, he was still a little curious about the person who had suddenly barged into the Long family. Since they were not afraid of the power behind him, the other party must be a very powerful organization. Thinking about this, he got up and glared at the person kneeling on the ground. He snorted coldly and said, "Get up. I'll let you off this time. If there's a next time, you don't have to come back. Just kill yourself to apologize." Yes, yes, yes. When the subordinate heard Long Ming's words, he felt as if he had been pardoned. Tears almost fell from his eyes as he hurriedly kowtowed to express his gratitude. Thank you for staying. Thank you for staying. That's enough. Follow me out to take a look. Since you've come to my Long family, don't even think about leaving. Otherwise, how will my Long family lead Lian City in the future? After saying that, he ignored the subordinate and walked out of the room, heading towards the front yard. Wang Yin had no idea about what was going on with Long Ming. At this moment, he was taking the lead to obtain Lin Rei's trust for Montgomery. I didn't expect that a small Long family would have so many subordinates. I wonder how the Long family's residence is, Just as Wang Yun was lamenting about the large number of people in the Long family, suddenly, an oppressive aura emerged from the depths of the Long family. TSK, this oppressive feeling was rapidly approaching. Regarding this, Wang Yun frowned. He raised his head, and a vigilant expression appeared on his face. The origin energy in his body quickly circulated and became vigilant. There's an expert, if Wang Yun could feel it, Huang Zhong could naturally feel it as well. The moment the oppressive feeling appeared, Huang Zhong came to Wang Yun's side with a solemn expression. The expert. It should be the Long family's patriarch. This was the only thing Wang Yun could think of. After all, there were very few people in the Yin country who could possess such a powerful cultivation. He's here. Huang Zhong suddenly raised his head and saw Long Ming's figure walking out from the depths of the Long family's residence. Beside him was the servant who was kneeling earlier. You are the Long family's patriarch. Looking at Long Ming, without waiting for him to speak, Huang Zhong asked. His battle-intent soared. He was looking forward to a battle with an expert. You are the people who barged into my Long family's residence. He looked at Huang Zhong and the others with a puzzled expression. Huang Zhong felt particularly stupid about Long Ming's question. Wasn't it obvious? He still asked. There was no response. The origin energy in his body circulated quickly, preparing for battle at any time. However, Wang Yun was speechless about the situation between the two of them. He understood this junior brother of his. He was a battle maniac. His gaze fell upon Long Ming, and the seriousness in his eyes increased. The Long family has never existed in the Fire Country before. Where did all of you come from? Who is the power behind you? Why have you come to such a barren place like Lian City? And why are you going against the Lin family at every turn? He went straight to the point. He was too lazy to waste time on the Long family. Chapter 1043. Tell me, is it your idea to target the Lin family, or is it the power behind you? Towards Long Ming, Wang Yun did not have the slightest bit of patience. Even though he knew that the other party had a formidable cultivation base. So what? As someone who had seen experts like Lin Li, Long Ming of Annihilation before him was nothing more than an ant compared to Lin Li. You broke into my Long family because of the Lin family? Long Ming was startled when he saw Wang Yun. He looked at Wang Yun in surprise. Just now, he was still thinking about how he had offended these people in front of him. Now that he heard Wang Yun's words, he finally understood that it wasn't him who had offended them. It was because he had dealt with the Lin family that they were provoked. However, since when did the Lin family have such a powerhouse holding the fort? Wasn't the most powerful person in the Lin family that old man, Master Lin? When this doubt arose, Long Ming suddenly felt that it was a mistake for him to target the Lin family. This feeling flashed through his mind. When he thought of the Lin family's current situation, he immediately denied that feeling. Forget it. Since I've already targeted them, why should I be afraid? Besides, this isn't my own wish. If it weren't for that guy, I would still be a comfortable young master in the Guanyin Empire. Hey, why aren't you saying anything? I'm asking you. Is it you or the power behind you that wants to deal with the Lin family? Seeing that Long Ming didn't speak, Wang Yun spoke again impatiently. The sudden voice pulled Long Ming, who was in deep thought, back to reality. He frowned, and his displeasure was vividly displayed. He looked up at Long Ming with even more killing intent. He didn't care who the other party was. As long as they provoked him, as long as they were the Lin family's helpers, they would be the target of his destruction. After thinking it through, his mood improved a lot, and he didn't care about those trivial thoughts from before. Do you know how to write the word death? Oh, from what you're saying, do you want to kill me now? Long Ming's decision shocked Wang Yun. In the face of such a situation, Long Ming's expression did not change, even if Mount Tai collapsed in front of him. It could be seen that he was not an ordinary person. Moreover, the aura that Long Ming emitted was full of nobility. It could be seen that the other party's identity was not simple. But with such a status, why was he related to the Lin family? Besides Lin Ray, what else did the Lin family have? Of course, this thought only flashed through his mind. Now is not the time to think about such things. Although he said he was not afraid of Long Ming, the other party's strength was there for all to see. In response to Wang Yun's words, Long Ming smiled. That's right. I'll kill you. As long as it's related to the Lin family, everything will die. So how do you want to die? As for the information you want to get out of me, I'm not afraid to tell you that I was indeed sent here by someone. Moreover, that person is very powerful. Not to mention you, Even I am at most a cannon fodder in their hands. Of course, you won't be able to see this because you will die today. Moreover, you'll also die with the people behind you. Hearing Long Ming's words, Wang Yun sucked in a breath of cold air. He thought that the force behind the other party was very strong, but when he heard Long Ming's words, he hesitated. With Long Ming's strength, he was only cannon fodder in the eyes of the other party. How strong was that force? On the other side, Lu Chantian, who had entered the city, did not have the intention to meet up with Wang Yun. Instead, after entering the city, he chose the opposite direction from Wang Yun and walked away. Along the way, Lu Chantian saw only emptiness, and emptiness. There was no sign of life here at all. On both sides of the street, there should have been a lively atmosphere, but at this moment, there was no sign of it at all. It was even very rare to see a figure on the street. Along the way, Lu Chantian was extremely shocked. He did not expect the Long family to control Yin City to such an extent. As for the Lin family, Lu Chantian was even more worried. At this moment, Lu Chantian could not help but pray in his heart. He prayed that nothing would happen to the Lin family. Otherwise, not only would the world suffer, but even she would not be spared. After all, he should have been able to arrive at Yin City a little later. It was because he could not bear it that he indulged the sword sect again and again, causing such a long delay. As he prayed, he could not help but walk faster and faster. He was already very close, so it did not take long for Lu Chantian to arrive in front of the Lin family's gate. At this moment, the Lin family's gate was tightly shut, and the gate was a little dilapidated. It did not have the grandeur of a big family like before. When Lu Chantian saw this scene, his heart skipped a beat. His hanging heart instantly sank. Looking at the state of the Lin family, he could imagine what had happened to the Lin family during this period of time. It's over. If Master sees his family in such a state, then... Thinking of Lin Rei's violent temper, Lu Chantian could even imagine Lin Rei's reaction after seeing this scene. Only by killing could he offset the anger and dissatisfaction in Lin Rei's heart. Only by killing could he find the guilt he felt towards his family. So it looks like there's really a big reshuffle this time. If this goes on, even if I leave, I will still think about the past and the future. Thinking about this, Lu Chantian moved his body and walked to the gate. He reached out his hand and pressed the doorknob. Dong, dong, dong. The door was knocked. I am Lu Chantian. I have been asked by someone to visit the Lin family. Would you please open the door for a chat? Time passed little by little. After waiting for a long time, Lu Chantian still didn't hear any sound coming from the Lin family. It was as if his voice didn't even reach the ears of the gatekeeper. Dong, dong, dong. I am Lu Chantian. I have been asked by someone to visit the Lin family. Would you please open the door for a chat? As if afraid that no one would be able to hear his voice, he raised his voice several times. Even Master Lin, who was in the depths of the Lin family, could hear his voice. In the depths of the Lin family's meeting hall, an old man stood in front of Master Lin with a respectful expression. Lu Chantian. Master Lin was deep in thought about the voice just now. He was familiar with the name Lu Chantian, but he just couldn't remember where he had heard it before. Lu Chantian. It seems like he's a strong martial artist, but I can't sense his aura. At this moment, the old man in front of Master Lin spoke up. Oh, you can't sense his aura. Master Lin was shocked. Others might not be able to sense Lu Chantian's cultivation base, but he knew very well. If even the old man couldn't sense Lu Chantian's aura, then tell me, should I invite him in or not? Invite him in. I can't sense any dangerous aura from that person, so his word can be trusted. Is that so? Hearing the old man's suggestion, Master Lin was stunned and fell into deep thought. No one knew what he was thinking. Not long after, Master Lin, who had fallen into deep thought, came back to his senses. He raised his head and said, Go invite Lu Chantian in. I want to see just which old friend could invite someone stronger than you. Yes. Receiving the order, he left. Lu Chantian waited in front of the door for a long time, but the person who opened the door still hadn't arrived. His heart sank, and a bad premonition welled up in his heart. F*CK. Could it be that the Lin family is in danger? He was very afraid. He was afraid that the Lin family and the people related to Lin Ray were in danger. If that happened, what awaited him would be a punishment worse than death. The more he thought about it, the colder Lu Changtian's heart became. He didn't want this to happen. Jia! The sound of the door opening entered Lu Changtian's ears. Suddenly, a sense of happiness crept into Lu Changtian's heart. In Lu Changtian's eyes, if the door could be opened, it meant that the Lin family was fine. Turning his head, he saw the door open. An old man entered Lu Changtian's line of sight. Looking at him, Lu Changtian narrowed his eyes. With his current strength, he could clearly see the old man's cultivation base. Peak late-stage martial king? Lu Changtian was very surprised by the old man in front of him. One had to know that there weren't many martial kings in the entire Yin country. They could be counted on one hand, and these martial kings were basically all controlled by the imperial family. My master invites you in for a chat. It was a simple sentence, and he did not say anything else. After he finished speaking, he turned around and left. Lu Changtian didn't care about the old man's behavior. After all, this was the Lin family. Of course, if it had been someone else, Lu Changtian would have slapped them. In the Lin family, he didn't dare to be impudent. He followed the old man without looking around. When he reached the meeting hall and saw Master Lin, Lu Changtian's hanging heart finally relaxed. It's good that you're fine. It's good that you're fine. Old Master Lin was stunned by Lin Yiqian's sudden words. That, young man, may I know who you are? Looking at Lu Changtian, Master Lin asked. Me? Looking at the old man, Lu Changtian was stunned and said directly, that, old master, Junior Lu Changtian is Lin Ray's disciple. This time, I came back on my master's orders to see if the Lin family has any difficulties. As he spoke, a murderous look flashed across his originally gentle face. This trip really surprised me. At the same time, I'm very glad to be back. If anything happened to the Lin family, I'm afraid the consequences would be unimaginable. Ray? Lu Changtian said a lot, but the old man only heard the two words Lin Ray. Yes, my master asked me to come back. Hearing the old man's way of addressing Lin Ray, he really did know his master's age this time. How is Ray doing now? Is he eating well? Is he living well? Is he being bullied? Where is he now? A series of questions, all of them concerned about Lin Ray. Lu Changtian also had a headache. How was he supposed to answer? One must know that Lin Ray was currently in the Divine Valley. The Divine Valley was a forbidden area in the Divine Territory. If he knew, the old man naturally knew as well. Thinking of this, Lu Changtian's heart was in a dilemma. Should he say it, or should he not say it? What's wrong? Did something happen to Ray? Seeing that Lu Changtian didn't respond, Master Lin became anxious. With a bang, his body shot up from the chair. In the next moment, he was in front of Lu Changtian. He reached out and grabbed Lu Changtian excitedly. If it was an ordinary person, they would have been bounced away by Lu Changtian's elemental energy. Unfortunately, in front of Master Lin, he could only let Master Lin grab him indifferently. No, old master, you're overthinking it. Lu Changtian hurriedly shook his head in response to the old man's reaction. With my master's current strength, there aren't many people in the entire continent who can hurt him. My master is currently cultivating in seclusion in a secluded place. This time, my master asked me to come back and see if the Lin family needs anything. However, when I returned, I discovered that the Lin family has been targeted. Moreover, Lian City is being controlled by someone called the Long family. Hearing that his grandson was fine, Master Lin relaxed. However, when he heard Lu Changtian's words, sadness welled up in his heart. That's right. The Lin family is now. Now it can be said that they're on the verge of collapse. They could disappear into the river of time at any time. Lu Changtian was stunned by the old man's reaction. He hurriedly said, "Don't worry. The first thing I did when I returned was to send people to destroy the Long family. I think it's done by now." What? You sent people to the Long family? The old man, who was originally sad, was shocked when he heard this news. Yes, yes. What? What's wrong? You're muddle-headed. Looking at Lu Changtian, the old man looked as if he expected better from Lu Changtian. He didn't treat Lu Changtian as an expert at all. Instead, he treated him as a junior. What's the cultivation level of the people you sent? Peak late-stage Marshal General. What? Marshal General. This time, the old man was so angry that he fainted. If peak late-stage Marshal General could solve this problem, then the Lin family wouldn't be in such a state. What? What's wrong? Seeing the old man like this, an ominous premonition welled up in his heart. What's wrong? Looking at Lu Changtian, the old man opened his mouth. You've seen the cultivation of the person beside me. If a general's cultivation could solve this problem, do you think I would still allow them to commit crimes in Lian City? Looking at the old man beside the old man, Lu Changtian was stunned. That's right, there was a martial king in front of him. If martial generals could solve this problem, then why would the Lin family be in such a state? You figured it out? Knowing that Lu Changtian was aware of the situation, the old man rolled his eyes and let him figure it out himself. The head of the Long family, Long Ming, is a perfected martial king expert. That's why I've been delaying making a move. Why don't you think about it? A person who can invite a martial king expert must be very powerful. The old man continued. At this moment, Lu Changtian finally understood. If the head of the Long family was a perfected martial king, then wouldn't the person he sent be like a lamb in a tiger's den? Not good. Thinking of this, Lu Changtian's expression changed abruptly. Ignoring the old man's gaze, the origin energy in his body reached its peak in an instant. A powerful aura flashed, and his figure disappeared in front of the old man and the old man. After a while, the old man came back to his senses and asked the old man beside him, "Did you see how Lu Changtian left?" "No, he's too powerful. With my current cultivation level, it's hard to say if I can even take one move from him." Chapter 1044. So powerful. Master Lin was shocked. As someone who knew how powerful the old man was, how could not be shocked when he heard these words from his mouth? Even though he had always been in power, he could not help but be shocked to the point that he could not control himself. Yes, very powerful. Looking at the old man, Master Lin was stunned. In his heart, he was even more familiar with his grandson. According to his observation of Lu Changtian, his grandson's cultivation was at least at the martial sage realm. However, how did his grandson cultivate? He could not figure it out. Master Lin could not understand how powerful Lin Ray was. Logically speaking, after lying in bed for 8 years, even if he did not die, he should be weak and powerless when he woke up. He might even need to recuperate for a few years to recover his vitality. However, his grandson did not panic when he woke up. Moreover, after he woke up, the child's peerless appearance obliterated the Huangfu old man. Now, he had left for a year. Although he had not returned, he had returned with a powerful disciple. So I forget it. As long as Ray is still a descendant of the Lin family, he is still my grandson. Everything else is not important. After thinking it through, he no longer thought about those messy things. As for Lu Changtian's comfort, after sensing that Lu Changtian's cultivation was powerful, he was no longer worried. All right, since little Lu has gone to deal with it, go and inform the kitchen to prepare dinner. Let's welcome little Lu and the others tonight. Yes, I'll go now. After receiving the order, the old man did not say much. He nodded in response and then left the hall and walked towards the backyard. I hope this matter can be completely resolved this time. Otherwise, thinking of the powerful force behind the Long family, to be honest, he did not understand how he had offended them to the point that they would spare no effort. At the same time, he also understood that if this matter could not be resolved this time, what awaited him would be the destruction of the Lin family. Unless Lin Ray personally took action, the consequences would be unimaginable. Even the existence of the Lin family was unknown. On the other side, the Long family was in chaos. Just as the old man had said, Long Ming was a martial king realm expert. Wang Yin did not have the slightest ability to fight back against such an expert. At this moment, in the depths of the Long family's courtyard, Wang Yun and more than 20 people were lying on the ground. All of their faces were pale, and their auras were scattered. There were countless wounds on their bodies, and scarlet blood could not stop flowing. One by one, they looked at Long Ming in front of them with ashen faces. In their eyes, Long Ming was like an insurmountable mountain, and they were like ants that they could only look up to at the foot of the mountain. How? How is this possible? How can you be so strong? Looking at Long Ming, Wang Yun spat out a mouthful of blood, her face full of disbelief. Previously, he only felt that Long Ming's body carried a sense of oppression, but he didn't expect that after exchanging blows, he would understand that the gap between them and Long Ming was like a chasm that could never be crossed. Above the martial general was the martial king. He had seen martial kings before, but he had never fought with a martial king. He had never even heard of the name Long Ming in the Yin country. Am I strong? Long Ming didn't think much of it. Perhaps. At the martial general level, he was indeed very strong, but at his level, he would understand that martial general was just the beginning. There were many realms above it, and every realm was like a critical point. Even every small realm would reflect the huge gap between two martial cultivators. Looking at Wang Yun, the disdain in Long Ming's eyes was not concealed in the slightest. My level might seem very strong to you, but have you ever thought about it? There are many people who are more powerful than me. Even in this tiny little fire country, there are people who are more powerful than me. So, don't impose your own vision on others. You think that I'm stronger than you, but that's just because your vision is short. He wanted to refute, but was Long Ming wrong? No, Long Ming wasn't wrong. He hadn't seen a stronger existence. His vision was indeed very short, but he knew that Lu Changtian was stronger than him. As for how strong he was, he didn't know. All right, since it's already like this, let's go. As for the Lin family. As he spoke, a murderous intent flashed. The Lin family will accompany you soon, but now is not the time, so walk slowly on the Yellow Springs Road, or you won't be able to see them. After saying that, without waiting for Wang Yun and the others to refute, he stepped in front of Wang Yun and stretched out his hand. The origin energy in his body surged. Go in peace. On the ground, Wang Yun, who felt the aura of death, closed his eyes and smiled bitterly. Just like that, in the face of death, he was unwilling and afraid. However, when he became a martial cultivator, death had become a matter of the next day. As a martial cultivator, he had to be prepared to die at any time when he stepped on this path. That's good too. In this way, perhaps, you're touched by my people. I really didn't know that a mere martial king like you would be so arrogant. Just as Wang Yun was facing death, a voice that rekindled Wang Yun's hope entered everyone's ears. Lu Changtian? That's right, it was Lu Changtian, who had suddenly left the Lin family. Along the way, he had sensed Wang Yun's aura and could not be negligent in the slightest. Facing a martial king, he understood the disadvantage of a general. Who is it? Long Ming, who was about to make a move, stopped his palm less than an arm's length away from Wang Yun. He started to look around, as if he wanted to listen to the voice to find the person who spoke. However, unfortunately, after looking around, Long Ming was disappointed because he did not feel anyone approaching. He did not even feel the shadow of a stranger. However, the more it was like this, the more uneasy Long Ming felt. There were usually two kinds of situations like this. The first was that the other party's cultivation was so strong that even he could not sense it. The second was that the other party had a very good concealment technique that could conceal one's aura. As for these two, Long Ming subconsciously imposed his thoughts on the second case because he did not believe that he would encounter the first case in this place. A chuckle came from Wang Yun, who was waiting for death. Hearing this chuckle, Long Ming frowned, and a bad premonition surged in his heart. He still remembered Wang Yun's expression just now. Just now, he was prepared to die. But now, when he heard the voice that suddenly appeared, his originally lifeless expression disappeared. This was too strange. Long Ming could not help but feel nervous. Now, what was the situation? What was going on? Are you looking for me? The same voice as before appeared, but the difference was that Lu Changtian, who came from the voice, appeared in front of Long Ming. He walked slowly, and a look of contempt appeared in Long Ming's line of sight. Who are you? It was not an illusion, but he felt a sense of oppression from Lu Changtian. However, what made him feel strange was that there was no sign of origin energy flowing from his body. Long Ming could not help but withdraw his hand that was about to kill Wang Yun. He took a step back and became vigilant. In his opinion, it was obviously very irrational to make a move now without figuring out who the other party was and what his cultivation level was. Lu Changtian obviously had no intention of answering Long Ming's question. He looked at Wang Yun on the ground and looked at the people Wang Yun brought. At this moment, they were in a sorry state. He could not help but feel annoyed. In his opinion, these were all his people. Now that these people had been put down, it was obvious that this had hurt his reputation. This was something that Lu Changtian would not allow. He looked away from Wang Yun and the others and looked at Long Ming. He said coldly, "You've done well. Now, there's nothing for you to do here. Take them back to the Lin family." Obviously, these words were directed at Wang Yun. Wang Yun did not refuse. As someone who had experienced it personally, he understood the seriousness of his injuries. At most, he would be a burden to Lu Changtian if he stayed here. In that case, he might as well leave. "You? Did you ask me?" Long Ming's face darkened when he saw the actions of Wang Yun and the others. Although he felt the pressure from Lu Changtian, he felt that his dignity was being trampled on and he was being ignored. "I'm afraid it's not appropriate for you to do this in my territory," Long Ming said as he looked at Lu Changtian. "Oh, not good." Lu Changtian, who had been staring at Long Ming, said, "You hit my subordinates. Don't you think it's inappropriate?" "You." Looking at Lu Changtian, Long Ming choked on his words. Indeed, his question just now was a little stupid. However, he could not tolerate Lu Changtian's disregard. From the beginning to the end, Lu Changtian's expression did not show the slightest hint of joy, anger, sorrow, or joy. He understood that, so what if Long Ming was angry? If it was a year ago, he would have been afraid. Perhaps he would have turned around and fled without hesitation after knowing that the other party was a martial king expert. But now tell me, Lu Changtian did not intend to kill Long Ming yet. After all, he had not gotten the answer he wanted from Long Ming. Why are you targeting the Lin family? Who is the force behind you? How powerful is the force behind you? Looking at Long Ming, Lu Changtian opened his mouth and told him everything he wanted to know in one breath. "Don't be full of hope. You don't have that chance in front of me. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you. I have many tricks on my sleeve. If you don't tell me, I can only take action by force." Seriously, if Long Ming didn't want to talk, Lin Fan wouldn't mind making him talk. After all, he was already at the Lin family. Although he wanted to resolve the situation here as soon as possible, since Long Ming didn't want to talk, Lin Fan didn't mind staying here a little longer. After all, the thing he didn't lack the most was time. "You are also a helper of the Lin family?" Long Ming was very surprised by Lu Changtian's identity. It was not because of anything else, but because the report he received said that the Lin family did not have these experts who appeared today. But now, there was an error in the report given to him. This made him very unhappy. However, what he did not expect was that not only was the information given to him wrong, but his life now did not belong to him. It was just that he did not know it yet. "Answer my question. Who sent you?" Long Ming did not answer. Instead, he spoke again. At this moment, Wang Yun and the others had already left. In the entire Long residence, other than Lu Changtian, there was only Long Ming and his subordinates. "Humph. Do you think I will tell you?" A cold smile appeared on his face. The Yuan energy in his body surged. He held his sword in his hand and prepared for battle. "Are you sure?" Lu Changtian also admired Long Ming's courage. He didn't expect the other party to be so tactless. "Cut the crap. Defeat me if you can. Of course, even if you defeat me, I will not tell you. Just give up." "Oh." Lu Chantian was very dissatisfied with Long Ming's answer. He narrowed his eyes, and a trace of killing intent flashed in his eyes. Fortunately, Wang Yin was not here. If she was, she would understand that Lu Chantian was really angry when she saw Lu Chantian's expression. This was something that could kill someone. Die. Long Ming moved. It was not Lu Chantian, but Long Ming. As the saying goes, the one who strikes first gains the advantage. Long Ming obviously wanted to take the initiative. I have to say, you are very courageous. Unfortunately, looking at Long Ming who was rushing towards him, Lu Chantian shook his head helplessly. He did not open his eyes to look at Long Ming. Since that is the case, then prepare to die. Since Long Ming was so stubborn, Lu Chantian didn't mind using some extreme methods and doing extreme things. Swoosh! Just as Long Ming's figure was about to arrive in front of Lu Chantian, Lu Chantian's figure suddenly disappeared. It was the kind of disappearance that happened without any warning. What? At this moment, Long Ming was shocked, and his body stopped abruptly. It was not that he wanted to, but that he could not. He could not find Lu Chantian's figure. His attack was completely useless. How? He stopped and looked around, trying to find Lu Chantian's figure. However, just as he turned around, a chill suddenly flashed behind him. TSKD is really? Do you have to make me do it? Can't you speak up yourself? Behind Long Ming, Lu Chantian's figure suddenly appeared and sighed. What? Long Ming was shocked and wanted to turn around. However, the moment he turned around, he saw the origin energy that he could not resist suddenly appear and imprint on his face without any mercy. Pa! A clear and resounding sound rang out. Long Ming's figure turned into a perfect parabola as he flew backward. In midair, scarlet blood spurted out from Long Ming's mouth. A very obvious palm print appeared on Long Ming's face. Especially the face that was slapped, it was swollen. Bang! Long Ming's figure landed more than 10 meters away. If it were not for the wall blocking him, he would not have stopped. Looking at Long Ming, who was lying on the ground in the distance, Lu Changtian's voice rang out again. How is it? Now, do you want to talk? Puffed. Long Ming spat out a mouthful of blood. His heart was filled with shock. With frightened eyes, he endured the pain and raised his head to look at Lu Changtian. At this moment, Long Ming no longer had the arrogance from before. In Long Ming's eyes, Lu Changtian was a monster. Seeing that Lu Changtian was about the same age as him, he completely understood that the other party was very strong. He was injured to the point where he could not fight back. At this moment, when he thought of Wang Yun's smile, he finally understood why the other party was so fearless. It turned out that there was such a powerful person behind him. No wonder. Chapter 1045. Now, are you going to tell me? Lu Changtian asked again. Lu Changtian didn't know that Lu Changtian didn't know who the power behind Long Ming was. Otherwise, Long Ming would have become a cold corpse by now. Long Ming laughed as he looked at Lu Changtian. However, his laughter was filled with bitterness. However, this bitter laugh was a different sight in Lu Changtian's eyes because there was still hope in Long Ming's eyes. This guy, could it be that the power behind him is able to go against a martial emperor? Or could it be that the power behind him is not weaker than a martial emperor? This possibility was very likely. This kind of power usually wouldn't appear in duchies. Above duchies was the imperial court, because only the imperial court would have martial emperors or even experts like ancestors. As for martial king-level cultivators like Long Ming, they were not as numerous as the hairs on an ox in the dynasty, but every city would have a martial king expert overseeing it. However, so what if it was the imperial court? If the power behind Long Ming was really the imperial court, then Lu Changtian wouldn't mind going to the imperial court behind Long Ming. Of course, if it was really the imperial court, then he wouldn't mind being the devil in the eyes of the world, the Azura in hell, the killing machine that everyone feared. On the Tianming continent, it was very normal for the imperial court and duchies to be replaced. Of course, it wasn't always like this, and the imperial court didn't change at any time. After all, Every imperial court had its own destiny, and when its destiny dissipated, it would naturally be destroyed. Looking at Long Ming, Lu Changtian's killing intent increased. Looking at Long Ming, his desire to kill grew even stronger. Do you really think that the power behind you can protect you? Oomph. A cold snort came out of Long Ming's mouth. Obviously, he didn't take Lu Changtian's words seriously. After all, he had seen how powerful that power was, so he naturally knew how powerful it was. This was what Long Ming had mentioned before. His vision was only the vision of his current cultivation. In Lu Changtian's eyes, the power behind Long Ming was just an ant. He knew that it had been a long time since a martial god had appeared on the Tianming continent. Of course, this didn't mean that there wasn't a martial god in the Tianming continent. It was just that experts of this level didn't come out and were in seclusion. There were martial saints on the Tianming continent as well. There were 14 recorded in the heavenly scripture. 5 of them were ancestors of the Tianming continent. They were founders of the Tianming continent. Cultivators of this level rarely appeared in the world. Every one of them was the living signboard of the Holy Lands, and every saint had countless experts under them. Lu Changtian did not believe that the martial cultivator behind Long Ming was a martial sage or even a martial god. This kind of martial cultivator would not care about worldly affairs. As for those below the martial saint realm, no matter who it was, Lu Changtian wasn't afraid of them. So what if a martial saint realm cultivator came? He believed that even if a martial saint realm cultivator came, with Lin Rei's strength, he would definitely be able to deal with or even kill him. Sure, Lu Changtian's patience was completely worn out by Long Ming's determination. Time was limited. If he really couldn't do it, then inhuman methods were often the most effective at this time. Since you're so determined, then don't blame me for being rude. So what if the power behind you is powerful? Do you think he can appear in front of me now and save you? As he spoke, a bloodthirsty smile appeared on Lu Changtian's face. He took a step forward, and in an instant, he was in front of Long Ming. What do you want to do? Feeling Lu Changtian's strong, killing intent, he was afraid. Yes, Long Ming was afraid. Just like Lu Changtian said, no matter how powerful the power behind him was now that those people were not around, even if Lu Changtian killed him now, those people on the other side would not know immediately. And by the time those people on the other side found out, the Lin family would have already run away. Hell, what do you want to do? He looked at Long Ming with a smile. He understood Long Ming's current mood. Long Ming was just like him before he became Lin Rei's disciple. It was as if the strong person standing in front of him was an insurmountable mountain. In his life, he could only look up, not climb, not to mention climb to the top of the mountain. Since you don't want to tell me, then I can only use my own method. After all, my time is very precious. You don't come over. In the face of death, who would be afraid? Even a strong martial god was no exception. Even a martial god could not escape the fate of death. Birth, old age, sickness, and death were human nature. Even with the cultivation of sage like Lin Rei, there would be a day when his lifespan would come to an end. It was just that his cultivation was strong, and his lifespan would also become longer along with his cultivation. That was all. Don't worry, I will be very gentle. After saying that, Lu Changtian's demonic claw came in front of Long Ming, who could not resist at all. Just when Long Ming thought that he would be finished off, the demonic claw suddenly turned around and grabbed his shoulder. A cold smile flashed across Long Ming's face. Crack! Lu Changtian exerted a little force, and the sound of bones breaking resounded through the entire space. In the distance, seeing his master in such a sorry state, he wanted to lead the crowd to rescue him. However, just when he was about to move and had already taken a step forward, a cold gaze was cast on him. If you move again, I will make you die even more miserably than Long Ming. Of course, you can choose not to believe me, but I, Lu Changtian, am a man of my words. I will definitely do what I say. As soon as he said that, the young man who was about to take a step forward trembled. Thinking of how powerful the other party was, Even his master could not withstand one move from him. He subconsciously retracted his foot. You are teachable. Seeing that the crowd did not understand, Lu Chantian flashed a satisfied smile and then turned his attention back to Long Ming. Now, there are no more flies. Crack! As he said that, he exerted more force on the broken bone. This time, the broken bone was completely shattered. Yes, it was shattered, and it was the kind that was crushed. For this kind of crushed bone, Lu Chantian could guarantee that even a genius doctor would not be able to repair it. This was the internal force that Lin Ray had taught him before. Although the effect was only 10 or 20% of the initial stage, it was still a method for cultivators. If it was a cultivator like Lin Ray, there might be a chance to cure Long Ming. Unfortunately, in the entire Destiny realm, except for Lin Ray and Lu Chantian, only Tendo had this kind of power. But would Tendo come out to help someone who was regarded as an ant in his eyes? Obviously, this was impossible. The sound of bones breaking was accompanied by a dragon's roar and a bestial howl of pain. Shoo! Don't scream. I will break your arm like this. Oh, by the way, except for my master, only I can cure this kind of fracture. The smile on Lu Chantian's face did not fade at all. In Long Ming's eyes, this smile was the grim smile of the Grim Reaper. No, it was a smile that was more terrifying than the Grim Reaper. This feeling was hard to describe. It had to be said that this rough method was very useful. The moment Lu Zhantian said that, Long Ming, who was originally crying out in pain, immediately shut up. However, because of the pain, Long Ming's expression was fierce and his face was as pale as paper. Bean-sized beads of cold sweat rolled down his cheeks and finally fell to the ground. Well, good boy. As soon as these words came out, the crowd in the distance trembled violently. The way they looked at Lu Chantian changed again. Devil, this person is a devil. This kind of thought appeared in everyone's mind at the same time. This was the thought that everyone wanted to express, but couldn't. As for these people, Lu Chantian had no intention of paying attention to them. He stared at Long Ming and asked the same question again. Tell me, where are you from? Who is the power behind you? Why are you targeting the Lin family? What benefits do you get from doing this? As far as I know, the Lin family has never offended you. In fact, the Lin family has never offended the Imperial Dynasty or even the Imperial Dynasty. How did they offend you to make you do this? Yes, this was not only a question that the Lin family wanted to know, but also a question that he was very curious about. As a native family, how did they offend such a powerful existence? He couldn't figure it out. Long Ming was speechless. Wasn't there a saying that silence is golden? But when you leave, silence will kill you. Especially in this situation, it will make you feel worse than death. You want to die? Sorry, maybe you're thinking too much. Lu Chantian frowned at Long Ming's silence. He couldn't figure out what kind of power could make this ant keep his mouth shut in the face of death. But did he think that Lu Chantian couldn't do anything about it? Good. You've got guts, Lu Chantian said to Long Ming's silence to express his anger. Since that's the case, let's slowly enjoy the feast. Lu Chantian decided that this time, he would make Long Ming doubt his life. As for the answer, sorry, even if you tell me the answer now, you can't escape the fact that you're being tortured. Not for anything else, but because Lu Chantian was really angry at this moment. Yes, angry. This was the angriest he had ever been. It was also the first time he lost his temper because of Long Ming's courage. Aren't you cheap? Fine, I'll let you know that you have to pay a price for being cheap, and this price is something you can't afford. Kacha! Just like before, his right hand grabbed Long Ming's intact shoulder and squeezed hard. The sound of bones breaking could be heard. Long Ming screamed as if he was weeping and complaining. The same feeling had already occupied all of his consciousness and perception. No, don't. Long Ming mumbled incoherently. But would Lu Chantian listen to him at this moment? It was obviously impossible because Lu Chantian's actions were still continuing, increasing his strength bit by bit. An inhuman roar came out of Long Ming's mouth. At this moment, he was really regretting it. If he knew this was the case, why did he accept such a mission in the first place? Wasn't this seeking his own death and being cheap? At the same time, Long Ming sighed at the misinformation and became even more ruthless. If it weren't for the spy's wrong information, he wouldn't be in this state now. Little by little, his hands moved down and crushed the intact bones in his arm bit by bit. There was no intact part. At this moment, Long Ming's arms became bloody and there was no intact part. Blood kept dripping down his arms. In the distance, the subordinate who had been following Long Ming saw his master in this state, and an impulse flashed in his heart. As a subordinate of the Long family, the patriarch of the Long family had kept a close eye on him when he came to the Fire Country, telling him that he must protect Long Ming. But now, Long Ming's life was in danger, and he was powerless to do anything about it. What should I do? What should I do? Immediately, if this situation continued, it wouldn't be long before his master was tortured to death by the devil in front of him. Yes, what he wants to know is only the power behind master. Yes. Thinking of this, the man seemed to have caught a life-saving straw. The despair in his eyes disappeared and was replaced by hope. I'll talk. The sudden voice made Lu Changtian's hands freeze, and he didn't continue. With a plop, Lu Changtian let go, and Long Ming fell to the ground, making a sound. Lu Changtian didn't care and turned to look at the person behind him. This person was none other than the man who wanted to make a move earlier. Looking at him, an interesting smile flashed, and he said, You know the question I want to ask." "No, don't." On the ground, Long Ming, who was like a roaring existence, saw himself in this state. He ignored the pain in his body and roared to stop him. Looking at his master, the man was stunned and then ignored him. In his opinion, the only chance to save Long Ming now was to tell him the power behind him. Unfortunately, he just happened to know the power behind him. "I know the question you want to know, but you have to promise to let my master go." The man's eyes were filled with determination. Lu Changtian's smile deepened at the man's request. "Do you think you can negotiate with me? Is this the answer you know?" Yes, in this situation, what bargaining chips did he have to negotiate with the other party? However, for Long Ming, he was going to go all out. I don't care. Since you want to know the power, you have to promise to let my master go. Otherwise, there's no need to talk." Lu Changtian was speechless at the man's determination. He had seen loyal subordinates, but he had never seen such a persistent and loyal subordinate. However, for the answer, Lu Changtian nodded. "Tell me first, and see if it's worth it for me to let go." Ignoring the man, he thought to himself, "Since you're not willing to tell me now, then tell me where you're from." Looking at Lu Changtian, the man frowned but didn't relax. As if he had thought it through, he said, "My master is from the Guangyun Empire." Chapter 1046. Guangyun Empire? Even though he was mentally prepared, he didn't expect it to be an empire. He thought it would at most be a dynasty. After all, the Lin family wouldn't be close to an empire. But now, there was a problem. Guangyun Empire. There must be a martial saint in the empire. Even a martial god would have one. If that was the case, then things would be troublesome. After all, with his current cultivation, he wouldn't be afraid of a martial saint. He didn't have the ability to fight a martial saint. Yes, Guangyun Empire. Hearing Lu Changtian talk to himself, the man relaxed and continued. Everyone knows that countries are divided into imperial dynasties, kingdoms, and duchies. Empires are already the top existences in the Destiny realm. Even a martial saint wouldn't dare to mess with an imperial dynasty. Our young master is the third son of the Long family in the imperial dynasty. He is very noble, so please don't kill. He was begging for mercy, but also threatening. He thought that if he mentioned the Long family in the imperial dynasty, Lu Changtian would be more or less afraid. After all, the imperial dynasty was the top existence in the Destiny realm. Unfortunately, the man was wrong. He didn't care if the imperial dynasty was from the imperial dynasty or not. He just wanted to know who was the mastermind behind all this. Why was the Lin family hesitating? Why would a small family in a small duchy be targeted by those big shots? And why would they send their most noble young master here? This series of questions gave Lu Changtian a headache. He thought he had taken on an idle job, but now it seemed that wasn't the case. The man kept looking at Lin Rei's expression, as if he wanted to see Lu Changtian's answer from his expression. However, to the man's disappointment, Lu Changtian's expression was as calm as water, without any ripples. He couldn't see Lu Changtian's emotions at all. He was discouraged. Lu Changtian's expression made him lose confidence. Continue, Lu Changtian said. This wasn't the answer he wanted. The man he wanted hadn't said it yet. Oh, the man seemed to know a little about Lu Changtian's temper, but he didn't dare to be careless. He nodded and continued. 2 years ago, a mysterious person came to the Long family. He used his powerful cultivation to intimidate the Long family. He wanted my master to leave the imperial dynasty and come to this barren land to find the Lin family. Slowly, he killed everyone in the Lin family. This way, not only will we be able to destroy the hearts of the Lin family members, but we will also be able to complete the mission those people gave us. Bang! A thunderous sound came from under Lu Changtian's feet. The slab made from Lu Changtian's boulder was completely shattered. Looking at the shattered stone slab, the man's heart skipped a beat. For some reason, he felt like dying. And after that, Lu Changtian's voice sounded again. He knew that he didn't control his emotions well. It was just that the man's words were too shocking, so he couldn't control himself for a moment. As the third young master of the Long family, he naturally didn't want to be spoiled. However, the other party was too powerful. In the end, he used the lives of everyone in the Long family as a hostage. Because of that, my young master had no choice but to come here. However, how could my young master be so easily bullied? Furthermore, the Long family is not so easily bullied. Therefore, my master sent experts to follow the person who left. In the end, they followed him all the way to the Cloudwind Sect. Cloudwind Sect, another powerful force had appeared. Lu Changtian didn't know about this force, but he could tell that the other party and the Cloudwind Sect were very powerful. The Cloudwind Sect is a powerful force in the Guangyun Empire. It is said that there's a martial god overseeing it. As for whether it is true or not, I don't know. However, what is certain is that there are 4 martial saints in the Cloudwind Sect. Each one of them is very powerful. In the Guangyun Empire, they are ranked among the top. Sigh. Hearing the man's words, Lu Changtian could only let out a long sigh to ease his current mood. It was fine if there was a martial god, but there were also 4 martial saints. This was a bit too much for him. Originally, he wanted to cause trouble. However, Lu Changtian might have to change his mind now. After all, that level of existence was not something he could come into contact with. Of course, just because he couldn't, it didn't mean that his master, Lin Rei, couldn't. In his impression, Lin Rei was a special existence. Seeing that Lu Changtian was interested, the man smiled and continued. The Cloudwind Sect's Feng Chiozi thought that it was a martial saint-level expert. He was the one who asked my young master to come. So, with a plop, the man directly knelt on the ground. He had a pleading expression on his face. I beg you not to kill my young master. From the beginning to the end, the man didn't plead for him even once. Every time he opened his mouth, he would say something about Long Ming running away. This made Lu Changtian deeply moved. With such subordinates, what more could he ask for? A smile flashed across his face. He had achieved his goal of coming here this time. Guangyun Empire, Cloudwind Sect's Feng Chiozi. Lu Changtian firmly remembered this name in his heart because he was going to tell Lin Rei about it when he returned. As for Long Ming and the people in front of him, although he had the intention to kill them, Lu Changtian's heart softened when he saw the person in front of him acting like this. I beg you, bam bam. The sound of heads hitting the ground rang out. This caused Lu Changtian's heart to soften even more. I beg you, plop. The remaining people all knelt on the ground and began to beg Lu Changtian for mercy. The scene was spectacular. One had to know that the Long family was the overlord of the Lien city before. Now they had become like this. In just a day's time, the sky and earth had turned upside down. Sigh. Letting out a long sigh, he waved his hand and said, I can spare Long Ming, but you have to come with me to see someone. If that person says that he won't kill you, then you're truly safe. This is my limit. After all, you have offended the Lin family too deeply. But if you can atone for your crimes, then maybe that person will be merciful. What do you think? Really? Long Ming, who was on the ground, had no other thoughts other than shock. After all, he thought that he was dead for sure. But now, the situation was reversed. Lu Changtian nodded and continued. What I said may not be accurate. Don't take this as a promise because the final power of life and death is in the hands of that person. So, pray that that person will be in a better mood because of your face. Otherwise, after saying that, he shook his head and looked like he was not sure. However, this already allowed Long Ming and the others to breathe a sigh of relief. After all, it was a good thing that they did not have to die. All right, since the matter is settled, then do as you see fit. I will be staying with the Lin family for a few days. Don't even think about running away. Your Long family is in the Guangyun Empire. If you go missing here, then your Long family will pay with their lives because of your disappearance. Remember, I have the strength. Even if Feng Xiuzi is here, it won't matter. Remember, Lu Changtian's words had already proven his power. He was a martial honorable. Long Ming never thought that he would actually attack a martial honorable in front of him. Wasn't this like an egg hitting a rock? What a pain in the ass, swish. A sound pierced through the air. While everyone was still in a daze, Lu Changtian's figure disappeared from the Long family's residence. Thousands of miles away in the Divine Valley, Lin Rei was bored to death as he stood at the peak of a mountain as usual. The wind blew and he was in a daze. No one knew what he was thinking. Inger, how are you doing now? He was homesick. Although this was the place where he was born in this lifetime, he still had a sense of belonging. He couldn't let Lin Rei, who still had his memories, feel warm even though he had family here. At that moment, he recalled some of the memories he had with Ing and the others. A smile flashed across Lin Rei's face. Xueling Tian was dumbfounded. This was the first time he'd seen Lin Rei like this. When Lu Ying saw that Lin Rei and Ing hadn't appeared at the entrance of the village, he muttered to himself, why aren't they back yet? Logically speaking, they should have been back a long time ago. However, in the next moment, two people appeared. It was Lin Rei and Ing whom Lu Ying had been waiting for. Similarly, Lin Rei was stunned when he saw Lu Ying, who was waiting at the entrance. His eyes were filled with shock and longing, but Lin Rei quickly walked forward step by step. When Lu Ying's silhouette finally appeared in front of Lin Rei's eyes, the shock and longing from before completely disappeared. His heart clenched and he felt a heart-wrenching pain. Tears instantly flowed out and his footsteps quickened. When he reached Lu Ying's side, he didn't say anything and just brushed past him. At the same time, when Lu Ying saw Lin Rei's strange behavior and was about to say something, he realized that Lin Rei had already disappeared. Seeing this, Lu Ying's heart secretly panicked, but he quickly reacted. Let's go, dinner's ready. At that moment, Lu Ying regained his usual coldness and told Lin Rei that he was close to Lin Yun's house. Of course, he didn't know about this because he didn't know that when Jean Ling was alive, she had been waiting for her father until she died. Lin Yun didn't think much of it and walked into the room. When he saw the food on the table, his appetite was whetted and he immediately sat down and started eating. As for Lin Rei, he brushed past Lu Ying and said, "You're in the room." Then, he took out a jar of wine and started pouring it into his mouth. Cough, cough. Perhaps he drank too quickly. He choked and started coughing violently. Suddenly, his chest felt stuffy and blood rushed up. Puffed. Suddenly, he spat out a mouthful of blood and his originally gloomy face became much rosier. Haha, Ling Er, don't you think I'm funny? I know you're already dead, but after seeing that silhouette today, I wish so much that the person waiting for me was you. He couldn't hold it in anymore and burst into tears. His tears were like a waterfall as they rushed down, completely drenching his clothes. However, the wine didn't stop pouring into his mouth. In fact, each mouthful was bigger than the last, as if he couldn't wait to eat the entire jar. At this moment, a pair of sorrowful eyes were hiding in the dark and watching this scene. The moment he heard Lin Ray's words, he couldn't stop his tears from flowing. So that's how it is, so that's how it is. As he spoke, the person in the dark retreated, teleporting away. The only person left in the room was Linley, who was sobbing by himself. If I could do it all over again, I'd rather be that young man who lost his memories. Even if life is hard, but at least I'd still be by your side to protect you and not be separated by life and death like now. Pa! The hand holding the jar of wine fell to the side, and the jar was instantly smashed into pieces. As for the wine inside, Lin Ray drank all of it. Perhaps it was because the sound in the room was too loud that Lin Yun, who was eating, put down his chopsticks and stood up with a puzzled expression. He went to Lin Ray's room and knocked on the door. Knock, knock, knock. Father, are you all right? There was a moment of silence. After a while, no sound came out. Lin Yun didn't have a chance because he wasn't worried about Lin Ray because he knew his father's cultivation level. Then, Lin Yun turned around and went back to the dining table and started eating in big bites. In the room, Lin Ray fell asleep from exhaustion, perhaps because he missed him too much and drank too much wine. At this moment, Lu Ying was alone in the spirit fields behind Tianfu village. He was looking at the dozen or so mu of spirit fields in front of him, but he wasn't in the mood to admire them. Instead, he was staring blankly in front of him with a sad expression. What's wrong with me? Could it be that I've really fallen for young master? A voice came out of his mouth, but Lu Ying immediately denied it. No, it's impossible for me to fall for young master. I'm a servant and he's the master. Yes, I shouldn't have such thoughts. However, after saying this, tears couldn't help but flow out of his eyes, and he looked even sadder than before. But why am I so sad? If Lin Ray was here, he'd definitely be shocked. Lu Ying's actions at this moment clearly showed that there was someone he liked. Time passed quietly, and the three of them spent the night separately. Lu Ying also spent the night asking himself the same question, but he couldn't find an answer. As for Lin Yun, after dinner, he returned to his room to digest what Lin Ray taught him during the day. As for Linley, he had a very good night as well. He spent the entire night in the dreamland that he had created himself. Life was still like this. Very quickly, they had lived in Tianfu village for a year. Ever since that day, Lu Ying felt that his relationship with Lin Ray had become very strange. It was the same for Lin Ray. After that, Lu Ying also waited at the door for Lin Ray and Lin Yun to come back. This time, Lin Ray was already used to Lu Ying waiting. If one day he suddenly stopped waiting, Lin Ray probably wouldn't be used to it. At the same time, during this year, other than the outburst of hostility when he taught the 10,000 sword technique, there were no other movements. Lin Ray also didn't use any of his cultivation. Aside from taking all kinds of spiritual medicine every day, he spent every day very comfortably. They're back. At this moment, the sky was already dark and the moon was high up in the sky. The silver light seemed to have put on a layer of clothing for the earth, making the scenery especially mesmerizing. At the entrance of the Lin family's house in Tianfu village, Lu Ying stood there, as usual, waiting for Lin Ray and Lin Yun to come back. Hey, ma'am, let's go. Let's go in and eat. Memories were always fascinating. Unfortunately, he only cared about raising his cultivation all these years and neglected Lu Ying's feelings. This was his negligence. Chapter 10:47. Looking at the fiery red and scorching sunlight on the horizon, his eyes were full of longing. He didn't understand before because he didn't dare to relax because of the existence of the system and the god of death behind him. But it was different now. Without the system, he didn't have to worry about time. This made his body instinctively feel relaxed, and he felt the burden on his shoulders lighten a little. Ah, It seems that I'm still not suitable for this kind of relaxed life. Feeling the drop in his cultivation, Lin Ray smiled bitterly. Although his body was relaxed, his cultivation had dropped. Moreover, he had come to this era that was almost at the end of the cultivation era. If he wanted to go back with the spiritual energy of this realm, 10 years, 100 years, or 1,000 years, Lin Ray wasn't sure, and he couldn't give an accurate time. After all, with the spiritual energy of this realm, coupled with the cultivation of martial cultivators in this realm, it wouldn't be long before the spiritual energy of this world completely disappeared at this speed. At that time, what awaited him would be an era without spiritual energy, which would make it even more difficult for him to cultivate. If he wanted to return to the God realm through cultivation, there would only be two words waiting for him: dream on. The more he thought about it, the more flustered he felt. He really couldn't bear this kind of life. Without spiritual energy, it was equivalent to sitting and waiting for death. I don't know how Tendo is doing after finding the place with spiritual energy. It's been so long, and he hasn't sent any news. Thinking of Tendo, Lin Ray frowned. It had been so long, but there was still no news from Tendo. Lin Ray couldn't help but feel that he had been cheated. On the other side, Xueling Tian didn't know what Lin Ray was thinking at this moment. At this moment, he only had one thought, and that was to break through his cultivation and strengthen himself in the future. This was his only thought, and if he wanted to realize this, he was afraid that he would need Lin Ray's help. I don't know what's wrong with this guy. He's in a daze every day. I really don't know what's going on in his head. It's time to leave. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Number 4's words made Blood Spirit Sky at the side stunned. F***CK. What the F***CK is going on? Didn't you say that you were going to cultivate here and then enter that place to investigate? Why the F***CK are we leaving? He didn't understand Lin Ray's thoughts, but he didn't dare to refute. Thinking about the protection of the 9 azure dragons around Lin Ray, he couldn't help but shiver. Then, he lowered his head and remained silent. Aren't you going to ask me where we're going? Lin Ray said, looking at Blood Spirit Sky. Today, Blood Spirit Sky was a bit strange. Usually it was the most talkative, but now it was silent. Where to? Lin Ray, in the face of the Blood Spirit Heaven's question, which did not seem out of place, he could not help but roll his eyes and surrender. I'm going to take a walk in the outside world. During this period of cultivation, I've thought through some things in my heart. Therefore, it's not a good idea to keep cultivating here. After all, the most important thing in cultivation is to train one's state of mind. Cultivating behind closed doors is a big taboo in cultivation. Blood Spirit Sky. Looking at Lin Ray, Blood Spirit Sky didn't know what to say. But there was nothing he could do. He had already followed Lin Ray, so if Lin Ray left, he would have to leave as well. Looking at the place where he had lived since childhood, he couldn't help but feel a bit reluctant. Why are you reluctant? Seeing that Blood Spirit Sky was silent again, he looked around the mountain range with a look of reluctance that went without saying. There's nothing to be reluctant about, Blood Spirit Sky said. I'm just feeling a bit emotional. After all, I've lived here for so many years, so it's inevitable that I'll feel a bit strange leaving. TSK. Not bad. Lin Ray looked at Blood Spirit Sky in surprise. One must know that Blood Spirit Sky was a cold-blooded creature that had never been cold to anything. But now he was feeling this way. Scram. He understood what Linley meant. After saying the word F***CK off, he immediately charged off into the distance. As a smart person who understood Lin Ray, Blood Spirit Sky was very smart. As soon as he finished cursing, he quickly fled. Otherwise, he would be tortured by the azure dragons. Swish! A sound pierced through the air. When Lin Ray turned around, Blood Spirit Sky was already 100 meters away. You're running pretty fast, but do you think this will work? He couldn't help but feel a little amused by Blood Spirit Sky's actions. Boom! The Chaos Dragon Spear appeared. Lin Ray brandished it twice and stabbed it into the ground. Looking at this old friend who had fought side by side with him, he smiled. Go, but don't be too ruthless. After all, I have to ride him if I want to leave this place. Understand? Those who didn't understand would think that Lin Ray was crazy when he talked to himself. But Blood Spirit Sky knew that Lin Ray was giving orders to the Azure Dragons. Roar. Indeed, as soon as Linley finished speaking, a series of Azure Dragon roars echoed throughout the entire Divine Valley. The sound was so loud that it was deafening, and it reverberated through the heavens. Swish, dragon shadows rushed out of the primal Chaos Dragon Spear, all of them rushing in the direction of the Blood Spirit Sky. In comparison, the Azure Dragon speed was several times that of the Blood Spirit Skies. It was extraordinarily fast. Haha, who asked you to curse me? Don't you know that I'm a very vengeful person? Lin Ray's smile was terrifying in Blood Spirit Sky's eyes. In Blood Spirit Sky's eyes, this smile was the face of a death god. The gaze of death made him feel uncomfortable. No, big brother, no. Grandpa, is that not enough? Don't do it again. If you do, Blood Spirit Sky was about to say, if you do it again, I'll fight back. But when the words reached his mouth, he swallowed them back. It wasn't that he didn't want to, but that he didn't dare. After all, the Azure Dragons weren't something he could contend with. Ugh, damn it. Why did you say get lost? Blood Spirit Sky thought back to just now. He knew that with Lin Ray's personality, he knew that he couldn't escape the Azure Dragon's grasp, but he still said it anyway. The miserable screams continued unabated. When the screams stopped in Linley's ears, his mood improved slightly. Haha, let's see if you dare. Ignoring Blood Spirit Sky's pain, he pulled out the Chaos Dragon Spear and walked down the mountain with heavy steps. As for Blood Spirit Sky, he was still in a state of regret. Although his mouth was happy, his body was in pain. Chapter 1048. The Lin family was decorated with lanterns and colored banners. It had been a long time since the Lin family was this lively. The last time was when Lin Ray was born. Today could be said to be the day of the Lin family's rebirth. After all, the Lin family, which had been shrouded in darkness for a long time, had almost disappeared. After all, the threat to the Lin family in Lian City had been resolved. As for the matter of Guangyin Empire, Lu Changtian didn't plan to tell Master Lin. This matter was too serious. If he told him, it would make the Lin family worry. Rather than that, he might as well not tell him. After leaving this time, he would return to the Divine Valley. He might have to deal with Guangyin Empire personally. In the Lin family hall, everyone in the Lin family was present. Everyone was smiling. The gloomy atmosphere in the Lin family had completely disappeared. The younger generation of the Lin family was threatening Lu Changtian. Looking at this person who stood up for the Lin family, they didn't expect him to be so young. Moreover, he was Lin Ray's disciple. As for Lu Changtian, although he was being looked at like an animal, although it didn't feel good, when he thought about how the other party was Lin Ray's clan brother or something, he suppressed his displeasure. Lu Changtian's face was always elegant. In any case, he used to be the lord of the city, so he still understood this kind of etiquette. He stood up and walked in front of Master Lin. He bowed and said respectfully, "Old Master, this time I'm returning to the Lin family. I've been ordered by my master to remove all obstacles in front of the Lin family. Lian City is gone now, but from what I know, the entire Fire Country's Lin family has disappeared as well. Hence, I will be sending men to all the various family clans in the Fire Country, even to the Imperial family in the Fire Country's capital. I will personally make a trip there to ensure that they will not dare to order the Lin family around anymore, and will not dare to play any tricks behind our backs. What do you think of this?" That was what he thought, but he still needed the old man's permission. After all, the old man in front of him was his master's grandfather. At this moment, the old man's smile widened. He nodded. "All right, let's do as you say." Grandpa, you're flattering me." Lu Changtian was dumbfounded by the old man's words. "I'm your grandson's disciple. If my master finds out that you're calling me mister, I'm afraid that even if I don't lose a layer of skin, I'll still feel very uncomfortable. Moreover, You're not following the rules. As he spoke, he couldn't help but wipe off his cold sweat. If it's possible, you can call me Little Lu, Little Tion, Chong Tion, whatever. But please don't call me Mister. Master Lin did not expect Lu Chong Tion to be so agitated. It could be seen that he was very afraid of his grandson. There was no other way. With Lu Chongtian's appearance, if he didn't agree, he was afraid that Lu Chongtian would not get up. Thus, he nodded and agreed. All right, since that's the case, little Tian, I'll have to trouble you with this matter. If you need anything, you can tell me at any time. Although this old man is old, there's still some things that I can do. Lu Chongtian agreed with this point. Although the Lin family had declined, the Lin family's influence in the military was very strong. All right, then it's settled. After today, I'll send someone out to settle this matter as soon as possible. As he spoke, a smile flashed across his face. All right. As if he thought of something, he spoke again. This time, other than helping the Lin family solve their problem, I've also helped the Lin family obtain the right to cultivate in the Sword Sect. In the future, everyone in the Lin family can enter the Sword Sect to cultivate. As long as the Lin family wants, the Sword Sect will not stop them. In fact, we'll do our best to help the Lin family cultivate armaments. What? This news was undoubtedly a piece of important news for the Lin family and for the current Lin family. What you said, is what you said true? You're not lying to me. This news was too big, especially regarding the Sword Sect. He had heard of this strength before. Back then, when the old man from Huangfu came to break off the engagement, didn't he mention the Sword Sect? Yes, no, it's true. Moreover, I brought back all the elders of the Sword Sect. As he spoke, he turned to look at Wang Yun. At this moment, Wang Yun was sitting quietly at a table, drinking wine and eating meat. She was very uncomfortable. Wang Yun, come here. Okay. In response to Wang Yun's sudden summons, Wang Yun spoke without hesitation. She got up and went to Lu Chongtian's side. This is Master Lin, my master's grandfather and the current head of the Lin family. Before Wang Yun could speak, Lu Chongtian introduced him first. As for Lu Chongtian's introduction, Wang Yun knew what was going on. She quickly turned around and bowed to Master Lin. I'm Wang Yun. Greetings, Master Lin. I've long heard of Master Lin's reputation. Now that I've met you, you really live up to your reputation. Master Lin, Lu Chongtian, even a 3-year-old child wouldn't believe Wang Yun's words. She was really good at fabricating rumors. However, Master Lin also cooperated with her. He nodded and smiled. You're too kind. May I know who you are? Don't. Wang Yun's voice was almost a cry of surprise. However, she immediately understood her actions and nodded awkwardly to everyone around her. Then, she looked at Master Lin again, wiped her cold sweat, and explained. Master Lin, please call me Wang Yun. I don't dare to call you sir. Seeing Wang Yun's reaction, the old master could only look at Lu Chongtian as if he wanted to hear an explanation from him. Old master, he's Wang Yun, the elder of the Sword Sect. He's also the one who's stationed in the Lin family this time. From today onwards, everyone in the Lin family can go to the Sword Sect to cultivate. Of course, it's voluntary. If you're unwilling, then forget it. Oh, the elder of the Sword Sect. The old master's expression changed a little when he saw Wang Yun. Yes. Brother Lu is right. From today onwards, the Lin family can go to the Sword Sect to learn. After all, my Sword Sect will do our best to support the Lin family. From now on, we'll be inseparable from the Lin family. As for me, from today onwards, I will be stationed in the Lin family to protect the Lin family. This time, I brought 2 elders with me. The rest of the people are the elites of the sect. From now on, they will also be stationed in the Lin family to protect the Lin family from external enemies. In Lu Chongtian's opinion, Wang Yun was expressing her loyalty. He understood that all of this was to build a relationship with Lin Rui. However, this was also human nature. After all, who didn't want their sect to become stronger? The good news came too quickly, to the point that the old man couldn't react in time. What the hell was going on? Why did the Swords Gate suddenly want the Lin family to be stationed in the Swords Gate and even allow the Lin family to cultivate in the Sword's Gate. More importantly, Wang Yun was so respectful in front of Lu Changtian. The old master, who was over 50 years old, seemed to understand a little. He vaguely felt that this matter seemed to have something to do with his grandson. Chapter 1049. If that's the case, then it's decided. A smile appeared on his face as he nodded at the two of them. Then, he walked to the center of the hall. At this moment, Master Lin's dispirited aura had disappeared, and he was full of vigor and energy. Everyone, quiet down, quiet down. Whoosh! As soon as Master Lin spoke, the people who were chatting, discussing cultivation, eating, or toasting each other instantly quieted down. Everyone looked at Master Lin with confusion. They didn't understand what the old man meant. Master Lin glanced at the people around him and understood their confusion. He cleared his throat and said with vigor, "Today is a day of double happiness for my Lin family." He didn't hide the Lin family's recent situation. I believe everyone should know that the Lin family has been attacked by unknown people recently. Regardless of whether it's the direct descendants or the collateral descendants, there have been many casualties. As soon as he said this, all the members of the Lin family lowered their heads. Their hearts were filled with sorrow. That's right. During this period of time, their friends, relatives, and lovers had all been attacked for unknown reasons. Some were dead, some were injured. Sometimes they were still talking and laughing in the morning, but in the afternoon, they might become corpses. Everyone instinctively didn't mention this. After all, the Lin family's atmosphere had been strange recently. They originally thought that this situation would continue. But today, seeing so many cultivators who were at the same level as their old man, their hearts relaxed. They didn't know that their worries had already been alleviated. Sigh. He let out a long sigh and felt his body relax. His mood also improved a lot with the good news. He raised his head to look at everyone and continued. Today, I want to announce the first good news. From today onwards, my Lin family doesn't have to worry about what happened before anymore. Today, a strong cultivator helped my Lin family and defeated the Long family. From now on, the Lin family will once again become the ruler of Lian City. I hope that everyone can continue to contribute to the family like before. At the same time, my Lin family's business will be reopened. All the shop owners and workers who were rejected before but are still alive will return to the battlefield and help my Lin family rebuild its business path. Really? At this moment, a manager of the Lin family became excited when he heard old Master Lin's words. The higher-ups were very clear about the Lin family situation. Yesterday, the Lin family was still gloomy, but now, after just one night, everything was fine? That's right, Master. Can our Lin family really act as usual? Yeah, one by one, they opened their mouths to ask Master Lin. It was not that they did not believe him, but this matter came too suddenly, and they had been a little unable to react. Ah, the old man smiled and nodded. Yes, it's true. I understand what you all are thinking, but I must say that it is indeed true. The Long family has indeed been defeated, and Lian City has returned to the Lin family. As he spoke, he turned around and pointed at Lu Changtian and Wang Yun behind him as he introduced them. This is the powerhouse who defeated the Long family, Lu Changtian. As for this person, he pointed at Wang Yun and said, "This is Elder Wang Yun of the Sword Sect. He is also the helper who defeated the Long family this time. Speaking of which, the second matter is out." His smile became even wider. He was very happy and excited about the Sword Sect moving into the Lin family. After all, he still understood the strength of the Sword Sect. "Master, don't keep us in suspense. Hurry up and say it." An old man could not help but say. Haha. Seeing that someone could not wait, Master Lin did not keep them in suspense. He opened his mouth and told them about the Sword Sect. From today onwards, our Lin family will be united with the Sword Sect. Elder Wang Yun and the people he brought are all powerhouses who have moved into the Lin family. In the future, everyone must support each other without distinction. Boom! The Sword Sect moving into the Sword Sect was like a nuclear bomb that bombarded everyone's hearts. If the first news was a pleasant surprise, then the second news could be said to be a shock. The Sword Sect was the most powerful sect in Yin country. Now, it was on a move into the Lin family and help the Lin family defeat the Long family. This was simply like a dream. Behind him, Wang Yin saw this scene and smiled. She stepped forward and stood behind Master Lin. She spoke, cultivation. My name is Wang Yun. Just like what the old man said just now, I am an elder of the Sword Sect. This time, other than helping the Lin family solve their problems, I'm also here to unite with the Lin family. Moreover, the sect master said that if anyone from Rual Lin's family wants to enter the Sword Sect to cultivate, they can go at any time. As long as they are from the Lin family, the Sword Sect will accept them. There is no time to enter the Sword Sect. They will be nurtured by the Sword Sect with all their might. Hiss! The crowd fell silent. Other than the sound of people sucking in cold breaths, there was complete silence. This news was too shocking. Nurturing the Lin family's disciples with all their might. Was there such a good thing in the world? As people in this world where the strong were respected, they understood that there was no such thing as a free lunch in the world. Now that the Sword Sect had offered such generous conditions, who knew what conditions they would have in the future? Someone from the Lin family understood. He looked at Wang Yun and asked, Elder Wang Yun, what does the Lin family have to pay for the Sword Sect's actions? Don't tell me that the Sword Sect doesn't ask for anything in return. Who would believe that? Wang Yun, Lu Chang'an, Master Lin, these words came too suddenly, so the old master didn't have time to stop them. However, when he looked at the young man who asked the question, the old master remembered him. After all, most of the people who could ask this question were meticulous. When everyone heard this, their gazes fell on Wang Yun. They waited expectantly for Wang Yun's answer. They also wanted to know, did the Sword Sect not want anything in return for nurturing them with all their might? Wang Yun had already thought of everyone's doubts, and she even thought of an answer. She looked up at everyone and said, I understand everyone's worries. What I want to say is that the Sword Sect and the Lin family will not be separated in the future. We are one family. My Sword Sect sincerely wants the Lin family to be united. There are no conditions or requests. Similarly, we will not harm the Lin family. So, everyone can rest assured. Since things had developed to this point, Master Lin couldn't let the situation develop any further. He immediately stood up and said, All right, this matter is settled. From now on, the Lin family and the Sword Sect will not be separated. As for the disciples who entered the Sword Sect to cultivate, they could register with Elder Wang Yun tomorrow and head to the Sword Sect to cultivate in a few days. I want to sign up. This time, there was an uproar in the crowd. It was no longer as quiet as before. They had long yearned for the Sword Sect, but the selection criteria for the Sword Sect was too strict. They thought that this was their dream in this life, but now, everything had changed. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.